Hey, can I use your video on the saw?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, January 24th, 2019. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1106.
This is No Agenda.
Looking for a third show a week to keep up with the fake news and broadcasting live from the capital of the Drone Star State here in downtown Austin, Tejas in the Cludio in the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're number 8. We're number 8. We're number 8. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Okay. Sports reference?
No, we're number 8. Overall best countries ranking. U.S. News and World Report.
Hey, 2 foam hands, 8 fingers.
Yeah.
What report is this?
U.S. News and World Report. They do this annual overall best countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8, huh?
Number 8. Yeah, and we were beat out. I'll read you the list, just so you know.
Give me the top 10.
Because we got beat out at number 3.
Well, no. Do the top 10 with number 10 first. Come on, like a VJ,
well,
you know.
10, I don't have number 10.
Hey, everybody. All right, everybody, here's
8.
number 8 on the list.
Top 8. Let's see. Top 9. Top 9.
Okay.
9.
Yeah.
Norway. Huh?
Yeah?
Number 8. The United States of America.
Jeez.
Number 7. Australia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. 7 is Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to see who we have to go to war with to climb up the list.
Well, it's going to be quite a few people.
We're coming for you, Aussies.
Number 6 is Sweden.
Wow. You know, Sweden, did you know?
Rape capital.
That just last night, there were 4 bombings in Sweden?
Yeah.
Did you know this?
No, I did not. They don't play it on the news.
No, let me see.
Because it might interfere with the messaging.
Yeah, no, it's, I think in a grocery store and apartment buildings, just all kinds of crap going on. Oh, wait, here it is. I have exactly what it is. My hands are cold. Pizzeria in Stockholm suburb, pizzeria in Gothenburg. It's the pizza bomber.
The pizza
house.
bomber.
And the Swedish
Somebody
pizza
doesn't
bomber.
like pizza.
Swedish pizza bomber. All right, we move onward.
I've actually had pizza in Sweden. Now, this one makes me doubt the veracity of the entire thing.
Oh.
Number 5, the UK. Yeah, I had the same reaction.
All right. Yes.
UK, sure.
Was this done before the Brexit talks? Or
It's done just came
recently?
out.
Okay.
Number 4, Deutschland.
Über alles. Almost.
Well, if they were number 1, they'd be
Über
Über alles,
alles.
but they're not.
They're unter
Here's the one
drei.
that's got to be the one that is the most galling, at least to Americans, but not necessarily to the number 3 group, Canada.
Ah, of course. Well, that's probably true. It's probably great to be there. I've been buying all kinds of stuff off of eBay from Canadians. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, you can get the good stuff there.
I got a Bluetooth. A Bluetooth to 2.4 gigahertz streamer for my hearing aids. Normally $300, $200 from Scandinavia, in the box on eBay.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Number 2, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. And number one on the list this week,
Switzerland.
Yeah, if you can afford it, that's great.
It wasn't about affordability.
No.
So there's your list. We're number 8.
Yes.
We could move up if we make America great again.
Yeah. Well, we should all be wearing those hats.
The hat will do it.
Because
that's all you need is the hat.
What did we learn, man? What did we learn about ourselves this past week? We learned that if you see a white dude in a MAGA hat, everybody thinks racist, a-hole, jackass.
Yeah.
That's really quite incredible. That's the news to me.
Yeah.
That is really something.
I saw one guy's Twitter feed had said, red hat equals racist.
Well, let's listen to Angela Rye, former gopher for the...
Well, wait. Before we do this, let's give the background to what we're talking about.
Okay. Although I think the whole world might know this.
No, maybe not.
It's possible that would not. I'm waiting for you to give the background.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to give the background. You're doing the piece.
The background is a piece of video went viral on Twitter to be discussed, that part to be discussed in a little bit. And it was of a bunch of kids, Catholic kids from Kentucky. So we got white, Catholic, South, and a couple of them were wearing red MAGA hats, Make America Great Again hats. And they were waiting for their bus after they attended the pro-life march. There were pro-choice and pro-life marches all about abortion. What we saw on video was these guys surrounding an American Indian, which is how they prefer to be called. There seems to be some confusion in the M5M. American Indian is the preferred way to identify them, who was banging his drum, and it looked like they were intimidating him and smirking at him, which is, as we know, a George Orwell 1984 face crime is what he called that. So his face crime was taking place. And for some reason, Twitter has become the editor-in-chief for the cable news, which then quickly spilled over into all news. And it was just like everyone was freaking out. And I got to tell you, I looked at it and I went, wow. But I also at the same time went, why is this news? Why is this now top? I know the answer why, of course, is Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
But wow. And then it quickly turned out to be just a piece of videotape without the context and what was really going on. And the mainstream, a lot of people apologized, said, oh, wow, man, I'm sorry I tweeted all these horrible things about these a-holes, because a lot of blue check marks on Twitter were saying pretty, hateful, harmful things. Well, harmful, I can't say that, but hateful things, and calling for them to be doxxed, which they were, and calling them to be thrown in wood chippers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And that outrage quickly had to turn to apologies. Actually, the person who I was most disappointed in, because you could think, all right, I thought it too. It was like, wow, these guys are dicks. I don't know if racist came to mind right away, but just dicks, teenage dicks. Kara Swisher, she's vile. She's really, really, really vile, and her apology was just half-hearted. It's like, oh well, I lost so much. She
was caught up in the other one before that, right?
Yeah. I've lost respect for her.
Well, I mean, if she's going to jump on everything that
that's
comes
the problem.
out that's not proven.
Uh-huh. But then
just get your Photoshop out, people. We're going to have some fun.
So instead of really apologizing, the mainstream was kind of looking for ways out, and there's other stuff that surfaced.
This is the second time in a row.
Yep.
Each time the day after our show.
Yeah. We're
ramped up and then ramped down like within 24 hours because of it's a borderline hoax.
Well, CNN, as reported by, or actually mentioned by NPR in this last little bit of a 45-minute conversation about it, said this.
Well, Robbie Suave, associate editor at Reason.com, thank you so very much. And we've got a little bit of news here that Native American elder Nathan Phillips says he will meet with students at Covington Catholic High School. So that just happening. And by the way, Twitter, according to CNN's reporting, Twitter has also suspended the original Twitter account that helped this video go viral. It looks like it was being amplified by a network of other anonymous accounts. And one analyst says, we're all conditioned to react and engage or deny in specific ways, and we all did. I'm Megan Chakrabarti.
Not me.
This is On Point.
So basically say, we can always blame it on the Russians for trying to sow discord. Discord because Russian bots, they didn't say Russian, but that's coming. Oh, they amplified it and we fell for it and the news is anything but culpable. But of course they are, because that is what the machine is. We've looked at this many times. The machine is something trends on Twitter. Journos, libjos just sitting around all day. There's something going on there.
Hey, can I use your video on the saw?
And then before you know it,
time code.
outrage ensues. Now, what's interesting is that after they got over their non-apology, the M5M is just sitting around going like, well, there are some real issues, and let's just be honest. You see red hats. It's that's just a sign of racist. So here's Angela Rye a former gopher for the Congressional Black Caucus.
Well, and not only is it hard to believe, it's hard to accept. I wish that for one moment, right, we can talk about what we see, because people are talking about, well, you know, what is happening right now as a result of what happened in this particular incident is our varying perspectives. And I think that's such a powerful point.
Our varying perspectives. Okay.
Like, forget Donald Trump for a moment.
Well, hold on a second. When she says that's a powerful point. The varying perspectives are powerful. How is that a point? How is that a powerful point? A point is where you just made a point, but just varying perspectives is not a point. It's a thing.
It is our varying perspectives. And I think that's such a powerful point. Like, forget Donald Trump for a moment and just think about the symbol of that red hat. When I see the Make America Great Again hat now, Chris, I am triggered. I'm so triggered. Andre, I think in a lot of ways our friendship has been compromised by the fact that you continue to support this man. The one thing I will say to you, to be absolutely fair, is more than anybody else that I know on this network, you will regularly take Donald Trump to task. I don't agree with you on this last point, but this Make America Great Again hat is just as maddening and frustrating and triggering for me to look at as a KKK hood. Like, that is the type of hatred that his policies represent. And until we can have common ground and understanding about that it's that triggering, we're going to continue to have problems.
So you've got to untrigger me, otherwise you can't wear the hat because I'm triggered. I'm triggered.
So triggered.
Triggered.
Wow.
It is wow, because what has happened here is the media has really helped shape this vision that...
Oh, the media is responsible for the whole thing.
It's really well done, by the way. Golf claps.
Well, I don't know that they meant to do it the way they did, but...
I think it's a better outcome than they ever could have expected.
That I agree with.
But man, now and there's others. Now you really got to look at all sides of everything. Well, I don't want to do it now. We'll get into AOC later. You know, of course, went viral with her being an idiot. So everyone said about only 12 years left to live. But, you know, if you take things out of context without what is said before and after, then you kind of miss what's going on. And that's really, our show has been about this, but it's gotten very difficult. I fell for this. I fell for these kids. Not in a good way. I fell for it like, oh, man. I wasn't thinking racist, but just jagoffs. Yeah, what else? Why are they wearing the hats? That's too bad. And there you have it. Red is racist.
Wear the hat anymore.
Red is racist.
So now when you go to the Great Wall of China and you buy the Great Wall caps that are sold at vending stands, souvenir shops.
That's racist.
Everywhere up and down the Great Wall, everywhere you go. And it's a big red hat. It's got a little bigger brim than the Trump hat.
Yeah.
And it says Great Wall or China or something on it, but it's a red hat. Now
racist.
It's going to be the Great Wall China hat is going to be triggering people.
Because it's racist.
It's because it's red.
Walls are racist.
So they're trying to, now they're disassociation thing again. We've got red, red hat, red states.
Yes.
Republican.
And orange man bad. That's right. A derivative of red.
Association to make people just resist. Luckily, you know, not everybody thinks that Republicans have anything to do with the color red, but a lot of people do.
Yeah. It's just very sad that the news, what they call news media, is doing this.
They're lazy.
Oh, it's all they do.
It's not beyond lazy.
It's not lazy.
Look at a Twitter feed.
It's what the job has become.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Who's watching the Twitter feed? Anything happen?
I know, man. I'm following all my usuals. Yeah.
Well, I didn't fall for it.
What did you see when you first saw it?
I just didn't even pay any attention to it. I ignored it. It looked like another piece of crap that I didn't want to get involved with.
Yeah. So I had the basic same feel, although I really felt like, oh, geez. But at the same time, it's like, who cares? It's like, surprise, surprise. There are a-holes in the world. Why is this all over the place? And that's the thing that they should be embarrassed about.
Well, that's a thing they should be embarrassed about.
But also, it doesn't matter because in a year from now, you will hear someone on the news talking about the a native Indian man, Vietnam vet who was hounded by those MAGA hat kids. No one will know.
This is true. What you said, that's the sick part. What you just said is absolutely true. They're going to make it into reality.
We had, over the weekend, one of Tina's friends from Florida, who you would know as the Hillbot from Florida. When we were down there, now this is what, a year and a half ago, I think? And I got into a big argument with her. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah. So she came to stay. I got to tell you, she is so tired of everything. And she posts, last time I was on Facebook, almost a year ago, she would drive by Mar-a-Lago, do a selfie, flipping off Mar-a-Lago. I mean, this kind of Hillbot.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How juvenile.
In fact, but she was so open to talking with me about stuff and so willing to learn because I could tell she's really, really tired.
Yes, because she's confused. That's because the system of, I don't know, lies and propaganda, let's say, generated by the mainstream media is short circuits people. It's just because it doesn't make sense. When you absorb enough of it, you're confused because none of it doesn't make sense at all.
And she's very smart, so I think she unconsciously.
You think you got her there?
Subconsciously, she knows that something's. Let me just tell you how you can identify a true Hillbot. This only works for women, and I tried it out, and I was right. What you got to say is, let me ask you, do you watch Rachel Maddow? And you know the answer, like, oh yes. And before they can say, I love Rachel, you just say, hey, if you were a lesbian, and the first thing says, I'd do her, I'd marry her. That's the true Hillbot. It's universal.
I'd do her,
yes, it's universal. The O-bots in Austin used to say that too. Anyway, I asked her, I said, so she had only seen the picture and hadn't heard that it was fake, and because she's just keyed into her own sources, I guess. So there's an example of someone who might not have known that, because this passes by in 48 hours, there's something else going on, we forget about it. But for her, it would have stayed that way. And I said, when you saw the picture, what'd you think? Bunch of a-holes. And I said, let me guess. When you heard they were Catholic, she said, wow, that's really sad. You said that, and my first response was, oh, horrible, crazy religious, racist a-holes. And she caught herself. Anyway, for me, it was really encouraging that there are some people who are just so tired of it, so burnt out from what the system is doing to them, that they seem to be willing to listen and learn.
Yeah, some of them might come out of it. The problem is there's a good study, one of the best books on propaganda. It's not about how to do it or how it works necessarily, but the mechanism of cocooning that is required. This is an old book. This is written by the French sociologist Jacques Ellul. And Jacques Ellul, is one of his great books, is called Propaganda. And if anyone can get a copy of it, it was a major book when it came out.
Do you know that this is one of the first no agenda books discussed on the show?
It could be
like 10, 11 years ago.
Huh.
Yeah, we kind of forgot about it, but it's a classic.
Well, it's just a good time to remind people.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, so what he asserts in the book, and among other things, it's a great book to read. It's well written, and it's got a style that is very singular to this guy. He really starts bringing things together at the end. It gets very exciting. It's almost like reading a chase scene in a movie script. Anyway, he asserts that the only way it works at all is that you have to have people in isolation. They have to be in isolation. The best example of a situation where propaganda would work very well and people would just believe whatever you tell them is North Korea.
Right.
Because they don't really have any other sources of information. And generally speaking, he was, I think, hinting that in Western society, we don't really have that problem because we have all these different sources. But as we've witnessed during the 10 years of this show, 11, we've witnessed that's not true anymore because thanks to the internet and the idea, well, I'm only going to give you the news you want to hear.
Right.
That notion, which was right at the beginning of the internet, we're only going to give you the news you want, only the stuff you're interested in.
Yep.
That is that began the process of isolating people. So they're only hearing in their own little group. They hear only whatever their red group or blue group or whatever group it is, it listens to it. The right wing has been shown to have a little more leeway of maybe going out and watching Rachel Maddow, for example, mostly so they can complain.
But it's really it's the algos that do it, of course.
Yes, yeah, it is algos, but the left doesn't do that. And you talk to them, they read the New York Times, they listen to MSNBC, CNBC, CNN. And you hear it when they're doing interviews of men on the street. That women say, well, I don't like any of this that's going on. What's your source of news? New York Times, Washington Post, NBC, CNN. And that's it. Oh, I would never watch Fox. Oh, I would never listen to Rush Limbaugh. Yes. I would never. How can you?
I won't even watch the president's speech.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of stuff. It was fun because I laid my North Korea stuff on her. Because I had some good backup. I say, well, you know who my uncle is, and here's what he told me about North Korea and how many times he's been there and how they don't want armistice, they want to be end of the war with South Korea. Just please, let them be a full country. And then Don's quote, which was, Dennis Rodman knows more about North Korea than anyone in the administration, which was the Obama administration at the time. And I gave that all to her. She's like, oh wow. I said yes, because she has in her mind only, and even though she would be understand and her views were changing, she could not stop herself from calling him that idiot or the moron or the moronic orange Trump. That just kept slipping out. It was very, very interesting. Thank goodness, because it could have been a very bad weekend.
Oh, you're trying to save the weekend.
No, it's I like her. It's just she's a little.
Is she hot?
She's a New York Jew. That has nothing to do with being hot, but
I won't even bother. I don't usually ask that, but you always do that to me, so I thought I'd do it to you, considering she's a friend of your wife, or will be.
Let's put it this way: she says she gives mediocre blowjobs.
This is a dinner table conversation.
She's pretty cool. Long story. Anyway, she's cool. But she remembered, because she had listened to the show after I met her last time, said, you called me a hillbot. I said, but you are. I said, yeah, I am. Oh, okay. So just admitting it was good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, she'll be back in her cocoon, and that'll be the end of it. It's not going to work.
Well, if you come to the wedding, she's going to be there.
You can introduce me as the hillbot from Florida.
Okay. She'll buy that right away. She knows who you are. You're famous.
I'm famous. Onward.
Yeah, so
now for the red hat kid.
Yes. The president, just to get some of this out of the way.
I don't even have any clips about that.
About what?
The red hat kid.
Nah, I don't need it. We've been killed with clips. It's just for me, the importance is red is racist. That symbol is racist. And media is off their rocker and liars and can't even apologize. And, oh, by the way, there will be some lawsuits.
Oh, yeah. The kids. That one kid in particular who was taken to task by one of the women on the Today Show. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're gonna take their money.
Did you know that when you're a federal employee, certainly representatives, they can say whatever they want about you, to you, in the media, anywhere they want, and they have complete immunity?
I believe I know that.
Yeah, it was like some act from 70s or something.
To keep them from being ground up in court. I mean, it's a practical law.
It is a practical law, but there should be some limits somewhere.
Well, that's not going to. I don't think that'll ever happen. Most of the guys the limits are that if you're that bad that you'd get sued to death because you're way beyond the limits, you're going to get voted out.
Yeah.
Except in Berkeley.
So the president took the high road this morning. They said, "Okay, Nancy, I'll do the State of the Union when the government is open again," which is kind of unexpected. I like that tactic.
Well, he must be expecting the government to be open again pretty soon.
I think it will be. And last night, I've been busy. I was on my way to a dinner with a former New York banker. And on, I think it was LBJ or whatever it was, Will Hurd came on. And he was talking about, and he's a Republican congressman from Texas. And he claims to be, I don't know, his Wikipedia page says that he's a former CIA covert operative. And he's
that guy.
And he loves talking about himself. I think part of that's in this clip. Now, I couldn't get the clip from LBJ, and I looked everywhere, and it was just, I guess there was no recording. I was in the car, so I couldn't have recorded it. But he said something about how this would happen something would be passed in the Senate, and then something else would have to pass in the House upon condition that Nancy Pelosi would bring the Senate bill to the floor, and then Hurd said they have enough votes. I wish I had the clip, so I'm just butchering it, I'm sure, but he sounded very confident that there was going to be this this process, partly just a protocol, how things work, and also because it has to end. And let's see, where is he? Here he is on Fox with Dana Perino. It was just before the interview that I heard. Let me see. Is this it? Damn. I set that up so nicely, and where the hell is my... Well, this is...
The longer the setup, the bigger the flop.
Well, I don't know if this is the clip that I was thinking of, but this is one of them.
I would love to lay a fiber optic cable from sea to shining sea.
Now, this is important because Will Hurd is also, after he left the service, he became a Silicon Valley guy. And so he's very deep with Silicon Valley. And
sure.
And I don't know
they
where...
want to cash in on this. That's the point we made in the last show.
Well, of course, because... if you have an electronic wall, which is what he's going for here.
Yeah, until somebody throws off the switch and then the hordes come running in. But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Well, if you have the electronic wall, it's not just a thing of concrete that just stands there. No, it needs upgrades and updates and maintenance plan, and it's perfect. And now he's talking about fiber optic from sea to shining sea, and your point is well made. One fiber cut. And you have nothing from sea to shining sea. But okay. But it's an interesting idea. Listen to what he says.
I would love to lay a fiber optic cable from sea to shining sea. There's sensing tools that can be used off of a fiber optic cable. And then guess what? Some of the rural communities along the border that don't have access to really high-speed internet would be able to tap into. And you could allow kids in schools in the city of Presidio to have access to high-speed internet.
So this would be an underground fiber optic wall.
It's one tool, right? A fiber optic sensing can help you identify somebody coming across the border.
I don't hear you saying wall. So I just want to be really clear. You don't think a wall is the solution here, as the president does?
Well, a wall from sea to shining sea is the most expensive and least effective way to do border security.
He wants 200 miles.
Physical barrier in some places does make sense, where there's urban to urban contact, right? But it's not along all 2,000 miles of the border, and there's probably only a handful of miles where something like that is needed.
Yeah, I guess I didn't clip that one particular thing where he went into this a little, went into his background a little bit deeper. But I think we'll see a combo deal. You'll see wall. You'll see Trump has got to give in to Silicon Valley a little bit. He's got to. And it makes sense. And I love this. Well, if you string this fiber in the desert, then kids can have fast internet. Not quite sure how that works.
They talk about the children of Gila monsters. What are they talking about?
I don't know. But I think you're...
Well, Here I have a clip from PBS that's kind of in the same direction. I want to play it. This is Pelosi's shutdown.
Oh, yes.
When I wrote to him the second time to say, since government is shut down, we do not let's work together on a mutually agreeable date when we can welcome you to the Capitol to deliver the State of the Union address. Government is still shut down. I still make the offer.
The State of the Union speech has been canceled by Nancy Pelosi because she doesn't want to hear the truth. She doesn't want the American public to hear what's going on. And she's afraid of the truth. And the super left Democrats, the radical Democrats, what's going on in that party is shocking.
Amid the sparring over the State of the Union, there were faint signs of possible movement on ending the shutdown. Several top House Democrats suggested that they might offer up to $5.7 billion for border security, but not for a wall. The number 3 House Democrat, James Clyburn, said the money would pay for immigration judges, border agents, and technology.
I think that it can be done using the figure that the president has put on the table. If his $5.7 billion is about border security, then we see ourselves fulfilling that request, only doing it with what I like to call using a smart wall.
Smart wall.
This guy doesn't know how to turn a computer on.
A smart wall.
But he's talking about a smart wall.
Yeah, well, that's what Hurd is pushing, for sure.
And somebody dropped that term into the public domain.
Yeah,
smart
wall.
Some
How about
marketing.
We need
guy
a different. We need
Silicon
a different.
Valley.
We need like eye wall.
Eye wall
or wool. WLL. Drop a consonant. We need something better than smart wall.
I think smart wall.
How about
works.
E-wall? E-wall.
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 Sounds like somebody's name.
How about
Mr. E-wall's here.
Electrified wall. E-wall.
Wall of death.
Now you're talking. Wall of death. That's the one. Austin is a very odd place in Texas. It being such a perceived red state. This is very liberal here. Beto signs everywhere. Beto on cars everywhere.
Sign's still up.
Oh, yeah, the signs are up. The cars have the bumper stickers. Everyone sees there's new bumper stickers, colorful bumper stickers now. Beto. Just say Beto.
New bumper stickers?
Yeah, I think I saw a couple.
Even after the guy already lost? They're bringing out more stickers?
Just Beto, yeah.
Beto.
So obviously, if you talk to anyone here in Austin about the wall, they're, it's, you can't have a wall. It's racist. It's immoral. This a-hole orange man who wants this wall.
With live music, good food, and nightlife, there's lots to bring people to the Red River Cultural District. But there's one sliver of the street where the city wants to keep people out.
Why do people want to come out here if that's the stuff that they have to deal with?
Dave Machinist is part owner of the Empire Control Room. His venue backs up to this alley, a small stretch between Beerland and the Sidewinder that's been a challenge for the community.
You can see people dealing drugs, exchanging drugs for money. You can see fighting. People having sex, people defecating. I mean, it's terrible. It's a third world country back there.
When police tried to fix the issue with lights, city staff said it made the problem worse. And Luke Akers of Hoboken Pie had a front row seat.
The alleyway needs to be shut down. It should have been shut down over 5 years ago whenever we first started complaining about it, because it is the head of the drug and prostitution ring here in Austin.
So earlier this week, the city decided on plans for a fence on either end of the alley. It'll be at least 10 feet tall, and the businesses on either side will have access. A city spokesperson told us it's become a public safety concern.
There you go. Austin does not want a wall to stop illegal entry into the country, but they sure want one in the alley.
They want a wall alley.
Yes.
Build the wall.
10 feet high.
Oh, my. That is clip of the day for me.
Hypocrites. All of them, I tell you. Hypocrites.
Clip of the day.
That's a great clip. There's a bunch of, there's your Austin for you. Well, it's the same thing around
Let's
here.
go to Arizona, find out what they're thinking there about the wall.
President Trump battles it out for his funding for the border wall. An Arizona lawmaker's unique idea to raise funds right here in our state is now making national headlines.
Yeah, so what do you think of this? We're talking about Arizona House Bill 2444 from Representative Gail Griffin. She's a Republican from Hereford, and it would require electronics manufacturers to install porn blocking software on all phones, computers, or tablets, and the only way to unblock it, paying a one-time fee of at least $20. That money would be used for several purposes, the biggest being border security. Right now, the bill has not been scheduled for any committee hearings, but it is getting a lot of attention.
Vote these people out of office.
How does this jive with net neutrality?
None of it jives with net neutrality. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The algos will be able to detect what's porn. No, what could possibly go wrong? That's why vote these people out. They're stupid.
Yes.
Not stupid for not knowing what they're talking about, but for doing that, they're stupid. Don't.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other heartstrings can we tug? Oh, yes. Don Lemon, overnight sensation.
Oh, your favorite.
Yes, Don. Yes. He, of course, understands the plight of the 800,000 who are furloughed and standing in food lines. And it just gets worse from there, Don.
A little bit of pain. Somebody will say that when the repo man comes. There's a little bit of pain. Can you wait to take my car? A little bit of pain. I wonder how the men and women who protect this president, the Secret Service, how they feel about that. Take a look at these special challenge coins being distributed to agents and to their families, pretty clearly expressing their frustration with the words on the flip side, don't worry, you'll get back pay. You know who loves a challenge coin? That's the president. He keeps a bunch of them in the Oval Office. Wonder if he'll add this newest one to that collection.
I sure want one.
I do.
Get me one of those challenge coins.
I want one of those challenge coins.
Sounds fantastic.
That's funny.
Very, very good.
Likes them. That doesn't surprise
He does. It's a whole stand filled with the challenge coins.
Huh. Well, I've got an interesting, very interesting, another piece on the shutdown by that woman Elsindor.
Who was this?
That's the PBS black woman.
Oh, yes.
Eifel's place.
Yes. The Gwen, the woman who can never fill Gwen's shoes.
Of course not. Who can?
Right?
Yeah. Who knew?
Someone on Twitter said, finally the No Agenda show comes clean about Gwen Eiffel. It's like, I think we've said this a couple of times. Like, we're really sad she's gone. Because turns out she was
talking about for over a year.
Yeah, she kind of kept that whole operation in line.
Yeah. She was the pro.
Yeah.
Which is a problem when they don't have one anymore and there's just a bunch of millennials. You play this analysis. This is kind of interesting.
Well, the president doesn't want to look weak, and he doesn't want to look like he's caving into Democrats. Today, he called Democrats dangerous and said that they're being radicalized and that they can't be trusted with border security. He also used what some people saw was as loaded language when talking about Speaker Nancy Pelosi. He said that Nancy Pelosi is dominating Chuck Schumer. That would be, of course, Senator Chuck Schumer, and that Chuck Schumer is a puppet of Nancy Pelosi. Now, we see the president kind of scrambling to decide how he's going to deal with Nancy Pelosi and his strategy for her. Usually he's given people nicknames like Crooked Hillary for Hillary Clinton or Lion Ted for Ted Cruz. But in this case, he just said Nancy, who I like to call Nancy. The other thing to note is that the president is facing pressure from his own conservative base. There was a group of conservatives who met today with the president at the White House, and one of them was the president of the Heritage Foundation. Her husband is actually one of the people that's furloughed, a furloughed worker. Now, this is a large think tank based in Washington, D.C., and she told me, even though I want my husband to go back to work, I want the president not to blink.
Yeah, well, because it's not your job.
Right.
We had a few complaining letters from some. But the reason I wanted to play this, it reminded me of what the clip you had where Trump, the earlier clip that I had where Trump says, the reason she's cutting off the State of the Union speech, which is required by the Constitution, by the way.
Yeah, but it's not a speech that's required. You can just send a memo.
Yeah, you can send an email, a text.
This grand. Yes, you can. The grandiosity of the State of the Union is not required according to the Constitution.
It could be done in other ways, but the point is what I'm trying to, where I'm going is not. It's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that he's decided to start going with these propagandistic ideas. And he said in that clip, Nancy doesn't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Thinking, what? Is that the reason? Because she doesn't want to hear the truth?
About the State of the Union, I guess.
I don't know what it was. Just he's trying to project an image of Democrats with their hands over their ears.
Yes.
Going, I can't hear. I guess, but it's silly.
There is I caught a law coming to the floor. It's not even written yet, but it'll be House Resolution 705 to authorize the administrator of the Transportation Security Administration to utilize the security service fee to pay transportation security officers' salaries during a lapse in appropriations for the TSA, which is a good idea. I mean, the money's still coming in. The airlines pay fees for the job that these guys, there is an actual payment for this job. That's why some airports have commercial companies doing it, right?
Before TSA, they were all done by commercial companies.
So there's fees paid, and the idea, who put this in? Who put this bill in? I'm sure.
By the time, I think this thing's going to be over in the next week.
Cato. Yeah, I agree. And there's going to be some kind of, you know what? Smart wall is actually good because it still has the word wall.
Yeah.
Which would make everyone kind of happy. And there's got to be some wall. Everyone agrees on some wall. And, you know, the Border Fence Act, which was never funded, you know, they're going to work it out. It's just, what a waste of space and time. Just wasting everybody's time, except for the cable news. They loved it.
Oh, they got to stay in business. I don't know why they have to stay in business. They're not doing their jobs, but
yes, they are doing.
They're not
their
even
job.
giving us enough stuff on the overseas news. Is really getting pathetic.
Do you want to go there
we
now?
Get nothing from these guys.
Do you want to go there now? Overseas?
Well, let's start with Venezuela.
Well, I have seen some news about Venezuela.
That's the only one.
So let me what I understand happened here is Maduro,
which we kind of predicted in the last show.
For sure. We saw it coming down Broadway.
In fact, the cover art of the last show included the guy who's now usurped Maduro.
What's his name again? Yeah, the total Guido, yes. So there was a vote. Guido did not win, but then the observers, conveniently including the United States and UN and all.
Wait. Guido did win.
No, I thought he didn't win.
Didn't win what?
I thought he didn't win the election.
Guido won the election. He's the head of the assembly.
No, I read it differently.
Maduro? Well, no, there's another guy who ran against Maduro. You must be thinking about somebody else. Well, let's play these clips and then we'll get to the bottom of it.
Well, the bottom line is Maduro doesn't want to give up the seat. That's the bottom line.
Maduro won.
Yeah, okay. You tell me then. Tell me what's going on because I'm confused.
Yeah, apparently.
He did not win the presidential. He won. He's the president of their government, but not the president of the country. There's something that he did not win. I'm pretty sure.
He didn't run. He ran for what he ran for. He won what he ran for.
All right.
And they've did everybody else. I got 3 reports on the same topic from 3 different angles, and I want to play all 3 of them. They're not, they're a little longer than they should be. But first you have Democracy Now!, which is a socialist operation. As far as they're concerned, Maduro should be running the place into the ground. It's okay by them. Then we have PBS, which tries to take kind of a journalistic approach to it. They don't get anywhere. Then we have the report from CBS, CIA report that just tells us what's going on.
Now, can we just say up front that Guido, if you look at his biography, everything's kind of like ho-hum until you get to his master's degree at Georgetown in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, he was definitely trained by
our guy.
Our boys.
He's our guy, yes.
Yeah, he's our guy. Well, let's start with Venezuelan update, Democracy Now!, and listen to what they leave out.
The United States is continuing to ratchet up pressure on Venezuela in what appears to be part of a coordinated effort to remove the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, from office. On Tuesday, Vice President Mike Pence posted a video message online telling Venezuelan opposition leaders and protesters that the U.S. supports their efforts to oust the president.
Hola. I'm Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States. And on behalf of President Donald Trump and all the American people, let me express the unwavering support of the United States as you, the people of Venezuela, raise your voices in a call for freedom. Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with no legitimate claim to power.
Venezuelan President Maduro responded by saying he would revise diplomatic relations with the United States, saying, quote, never before has a high-level official said that the opposition should overthrow the government, unquote. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez also responded to the Pence video.
Y como el señor Pence está desempleado.
Because Mr. Pence doesn't have a job, now he wants to come and run Venezuela, handing out instructions on what should happen in Venezuela tomorrow, openly calling for a coup d'etat in Venezuela. I will say it like the Venezuelan people would say it to you. Yankee, go home.
On Monday, the government of President Maduro said it suppressed a military revolt in the capital, Caracas. Maduro has accused the U.S., along with Canada and 12 Latin American allies, including Brazil, of plotting a coup against his socialist government. Meanwhile, opposition groups are planning to hold major anti-Maduro protests today across Venezuela.
Well, it sounds like a coup to me.
It is a coup. And we're behind it. There's no doubt about it. This is the make good, because we could not get Chavez out of the office.
I think we just moved up one spot.
I think we did.
We're number 7 with a bullet.
Now, if we hear the same report on PBS, we hear a few more details. In fact, she never mentions Guido at all in that report, because in the previous shows she's had these experts on and says this Guido guy, he's nobody knows who he is. He's not an unknown. He's just some sort of guy. He somehow won the head of the assembly. He became that guy, and now is just familiarizing himself with people. It's reported differently on PBS.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro faces the most direct challenge to his nearly 6 years in power. Today, as Nick Schifrin reports, the U.S. and more than a half a dozen other countries recognized Juan Guaido, currently the head of Venezuela's National Assembly, as the country's legitimate president.
On a stage in downtown Caracas, in front of a crowd of thousands, 35-year-old Juan Guaido raised his right hand and administered his own oath of office.
I swear to formally assume the powers of the national executive as the president in charge of Venezuela.
Around the capital and country today, hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of Venezuelans rallied in support of Guaido and called for a change in government.
That is why we are here, to support our National Assembly, the only legitimate power for the 14 million Venezuelans.
Nuns demanded freedom, and other protesters demanded President Nicolas Maduro step down.
Your time is up, and your cabinets. Understand this. Venezuela has outgrown you.
Venezuelans have protested before, but this time the usually fractured opposition has a consensus leader. Until recently, Guaido was relatively unknown, but he's crisscrossed the country speaking against Maduro, asking for support from the international community and Venezuela's powerful military.
We are not asking you to mount a coup or to shoot. On the contrary, we are asking you not to shoot at us and defend together with us the right of our people to be heard.
So that sounds very much like they got all these groups together that work in concert. This is a CIA operation, and I don't think this will. I think this is something that they've been working on, and I think they're putting all their real smart guys on doing this to make it look smooth.
This was a real good job, because
so far,
just the guy just slips in, he pops up, he's totally likable looking, Obama kind of thing. Obama. The CIA knows how to run that.
Yeah, he's only 35.
And the guy just inaugurated himself. I mean, that's good.
That part.
That's a coup right there.
Yeah. So now we're going to go to the outlet CBS to hear what how they're going to try to spin it. I think that PBS did the best reporting on this, which we just heard. Very different than the Democracy Now! Reporting, where they're just
all in on
angry. They're angry about this.
Well, you and I are not jaded, but we've just accepted as fact that's what we do.
Yeah,
and we put up bases. And
we do a good job.
we are
give
the
a lot
order.
of money. It's not like these guys go broke because of us. I mean, they will go broke if they don't play the game right. But okay, Venezuela CBS.
Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans protested in the streets today, demanding that President Nicolas Maduro step aside. 35-year-old Juan Guaido, the head of the National Assembly, swore himself in as the new leader of the country. Journalist Virginia Lopez Glass is in Caracas.
There were also videos of the National Guard
throwing tear gas at protesters and also taking some protesters with them prisoners.
Backing the opposition, the Trump administration, which today, along with Canada and more than a dozen other countries, officially recognized Guaido as interim president. At the White House, reporters asked President Trump if he'd take military action to protect the opposition movement.
But all options are on the table.
Venezuela, once a wealthy country with the largest proven oil reserves in the world, is on the verge of economic collapse, with food and medicine in short supply. It has become a haven for terrorists and drug traffickers. More than 3 million Venezuelans have fled into surrounding countries. Scholar Moshe Rendon's family still lives there.
We're talking about 300 children expected to die because of lack of food. The average Venezuelan has lost 24 pounds in the last year.
Maduro has long blamed the U.S. for his country's problems, even accusing Venezuelan and Colombian immigrants living in Florida for a failed assassination attempt last August. Today, he severed diplomatic ties and ordered U.S. embassy personnel out of the country within 72 hours. The Pentagon and State Department are determining how to protect U.S. diplomats still in Venezuela. Sources tell CBS News that Guaido is now in hiding in Caracas. The next steps are unclear. Maduro still has powerful supporters, including China and Russia, and for now, Jeff, his own military.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we have the truer picture.
Yes. Of what we're really thinking.
Maduro did not, as Amy put it, revise relationships with the United States. He expelled the United States. It's the difference, seems to me.
Yeah, but we're not budging, apparently.
Well, no, we left. We're leaving. We're trying to get out of there safely. We're not sticking around the embassy.
No, NBC's got to get out, but everyone else stays.
Well,
Gladio B.
We know who's going to stay. The guys, the activists.
Yeah, the Gladio team. Mm-hmm.
And they apparently then I guess they know enough about the situation that they can take Guido, as I call him, Guido, and lock him up someplace so he won't get killed, because that's what the Maduro obviously would want to do. And so if you're running the show, if you're one of whoever the station chief is and these other guys that are having to do this thing to make it look like it's just natural, they know enough to get this guy buried so he can crop up later as the big reigning hero after Maduro either quits or something happens. Like, this is not over.
I've been looking at the Dutch news. I'm waiting for Curacao or Bonaire. And these are islands you can almost see Venezuela, which are Dutch municipalities. Nothing from them.
Yeah,
it's right off the coast.
Well, they haven't been read in.
Yeah. Well, I think so far, mission accomplished.
So far, so good. I don't think the mission's anywhere near accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget we went around and around with Chavez.
Chavez, a lot. Yeah.
And we tried to kill him a couple of times, and we tried to make him do deals and everything. And he ended up becoming more powerful than ever. So it can turn the other way. He never wanted to play ball.
And what is our benefit? What do we want all this for?
The world's largest supply of oil.
Oh, really?
Reserves. The world's largest reserves, bigger than Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think we want that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, who's in there? What companies?
Is
it just
Citgo.
us?
It's actually a
Citgo is Venezuelan, right? Doesn't that?
Yeah, it's a Venezuelan company that is got gas stations all over the United States, and that's all Venezuelan oil. That they have their own refineries. They're pretty much vertically integrated. So that's fine.
Not bad.
As long as the oil comes over here, but it's still.
If we could get Venezuela, and we also should just take Canada for their oil too.
Yeah, Canada's number 3. Don't forget, we're number 8. So
they're in our sights.
But the Venezuelan oil, we don't need Canada. We don't need anybody if we could get a hold of that oil.
Right. All right.
So
let's see.
It has something to do with it.
Yes. What else was going? Oh yeah, there was the 2 marches over the weekend. The March for Life and the March for the Women's March, which was split up and really
we had some clips on the last show about the Women's March.
Yeah, but there wasn't much. There wasn't much to do about the marches. They didn't have the scale. They did have the right to the March for Life. So that would be the anti-abortion people. They had an interesting speaker.
Well, they never get any coverage.
No. Well, there's a reason. So one of their main speakers was Ben Shapiro.
Oh,
now you gotta. I wish you could see the video. So he's on a stage. He's sitting down behind a desk with his laptop open. His laptop has a big Daily Wire sticker on it, on the lid, and he's reading from his laptop while he's on stage with this crowd, and actually the crowd microphone.
He's reading a speech from his laptop,
sitting down.
What?
Yeah. So I'm going to play this.
What a stylist!
It's baffling. And he also lost a couple sponsors over this speech for his radio show, which is just the beginning.
Finally, argument number 10. This one has become popular in recent years after the book Freakonomics came out. That argument is that abortion lowers the crime rate, right? That what has lowered the crime rate traditionally has been killing all the would-be criminals. First of all, okay, I don't know who's comfortable with the pre-crime version of humanity, where we get to decide before you're born whether you're likely to be a criminal and then abort you based on future criminal activity in which you have not participated.
And the crowd is just riveted by this fantastic presentation.
The argument, I guess, here is that would you kill baby Hitler? And the truth is that no pro-life person on earth would kill baby Hitler. Right, because baby Hitler wasn't Hitler. Adult Hitler was Hitler. Baby Hitler was a baby. Right, what you presumably want to do with baby Hitler was take baby Hitler out of baby Hitler's house and move baby Hitler into a better house where he would not grow up to be Hitler, right? That's the idea.
Let's listen to this again.
Would you kill baby Hitler? And the truth is that no pro-life person on earth would kill baby Hitler, right? Because baby Hitler wasn't Hitler. Adult Hitler was Hitler. Baby Hitler was a baby. Right? What you presumably want to do with baby Hitler was take baby Hitler out of baby Hitler's house and move baby Hitler into a better house where he would not grow up to be Hitler.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, he's off the rails.
He is off the rail. I just like, baby Hitler. Dude. No. He'll be
too much coffee. Too much coffee, Ben.
Yeah, he's going
to go to decaffeinated.
He's going to be deplatformed. It's going to happen.
Well,
oh yeah, it's for
they got
sure.
Their own platform. They don't have to worry about it.
Okay, coming up, I have. Let's see. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, I just realized something. I'm sorry, okay. I mumbled.
One interesting piece of news for people who believe they can monetize the network, which.
Here you go.
Yeah. It's just a shorty, though.
I love it.
After years and years and years of, and I'm looking at every single developer who's like, Google's so great. They're really making the best browser. Yeah, Chrome. Oh, yeah, everything works with Chrome. Yeah, Google knows what they're doing. They're so smart. Well, here we are. Google announced they are changing the extension API, which for all intents and purposes will make ad blocking impossible with third-party ad blockers. Specifically, it's the one that I was using.
Adblock Pro.
No. uBlock Origin is probably one of the better ones. No, actually, AdBlock Pro will...
I know it's corrupt.
But they will be allowed to continue to function. But, of course, they allow ads through for a fee. So now we're in the situation that just when Microsoft, as an aside, announced that they were moving to the Chromium engine on the back end for their Edge browser, Google is really clamping down. And everybody's like, oh, what?
Google is an ad agency.
This is what we warned you of, and here it is. And actually, there's a thread with Brendan Eich from Brave. And so the Brave browser will obviously be able to combat this change because they have other systems in there. A lot of noise about everyone going back to Firefox, which I doubt. In fact, I think most
went back to Firefox. I've been using Firefox. I never went to Chrome. I always thought it was Crumb.
No, I'm pretty sure that everyone will just go, oh, well, okay, and they'll take the AdBlock Pro, and everyone will just move on their merry way.
Except, you're right.
Except people like me, I installed my Pi-hole yesterday based on this news. I have to tell you, this is...
What is My Pi Hole?
My Pi Hole. P-I-H-O-L-E. This is, I think we've talked about it before. It's you get a Raspberry Pi.
I would pronounce that Piholi.
Piholi?
Yeah.
Well, there's a hyphen. Pi Hole.
Piholi.
So you get a Raspberry Pi, very inexpensive, like, what is it now, $20? You got a good one?
Yeah.
Hook it up to the internet. You issue one command. It installs this Pi Hole, which includes community open source lists of all the URLs you want to block. And whenever you, in your own network at home, whenever you are on the web, any of these, it's kind of like what Brave does inherently. Anything of any program in this case, anything you're using will then be routed into kind of like this dead zone, so it never appears in your browser, but it kind of appears as though it did go through for the service serving up the web page.
That's what Brave does.
Yes. But this is fantastic because Brave has its problems. It's still wonky. It's
very wonky. It's heavy. Can't do images properly.
Yeah, there's all kinds of issues with it.
Yeah.
But this Pi Hole, oh my God. And it's also fun to see, like this Microsoft they have like 18 different things they're pinging once every second. It's coming from all over. They're even pinging Bing. God knows why, but it's just all. And
why not?
All this stuff is blocked out. Is really, really good. And I'm thinking this would be a great product if we could do hardware. Everyone just needs one of these. You need a thing to just like on a USB stick if it would be possible. It's not. To just have one of these everywhere you go. And it speeds up your whole experience because it's blocking. I'm blocking a little under 30% of all traffic that is just ad-based bullcrap.
Yeah.
30%. That's really good.
Get off the net.
Now, everyone has to go towards these things because the Chrome browser is just completely compromised. And thank you very much, developers who thought Google was the best thing ever. And now you're going to have to deal with it yourself.
Hey, Google does what they do because they do what they do.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage. Say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak. I had no C for you. Just gave you your name.
Chrome.
Aha! And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Chrome Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to the ships at the sea and the feet in the water and the subs in the water and the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to our troll room, you can find them at noagendastream.com. Also starting to be blocked here and there by some corporate firewalls because apparently we steal we fish on you. I don't know what the hell. We're slowly going down, people. And I'm trying to bring up
some firewalls.
Say what?
I mean, it's ridiculous if anybody blocks us. What?
I mean, that's what they do. I mean, you get reported by someone, then all of a sudden you're just on the list. There's nothing you can do about it. It's called deplatforming.
You can bitch and moan.
In the morning to Darren O'Neill, as we discussed earlier, he brought us the artwork for episode 1105. The title of that was Bombshell. And we had our Guido Obama picture up there. So you could see how close the resemblance is in stature, in gaze, as in Gaze. Smile, everything is very, very similar. Uncanny almost.
The guy looks like Obama 10 years younger.
I don't want to say too much, but this show did kind of predict, and here we are. We knew it was going to happen.
All right. It'd be nice if I had my reading glasses, but okay.
How is the bionic eye doing, by the way?
It's great.
But you still need reading glasses for him?
These lenses only have there's different kinds of lenses you can get. One is fixed focal, and then you have some different focal lengths or a variable focal length. But the one that I have is like medium to long, 2 focal ranges, but I still get binocular vision. Most people, they get the single focal length, they get long, and then they wear glasses.
Right.
But they can sometimes lose binocular vision. And then there's these crazy ones that are just, you look at them and you go, why would I put that in my eye? But apparently they give you full range of vision. which would be the reason. But it's like the way that they explain it is like, yeah, I know it looks weird, this lens, but apparently your brain gets these images. It just really, by the way, this really makes you wonder about the basis of reality. I've had the same
seeing is believing, you mean?
No, I think everything is kind of sketchy.
Okay.
Because this thing is apparently just throws a bunch of crap into your eye, and your brain goes, I think I can piece this together. Yes, look, perfect. And you have this great vision. And these random scraps that are thrown under the retina. It's just like, okay.
So it's So it's not just a clean focal lens. It's like a whole bunch of like sand.
No, it's a lens, but a lot of them they got all kinds of little dips and doodles on them. It's not like just a lens that you could, like a camera lens. It's got more going on, and it's not natural because the real lens is like a rubbery little thing that helps us focus because it changes shape.
Right.
But it's just there's a lot to it, more to it than you'd think.
Okay.
Okay, let's start off.
Now, we don't have any official executive producers today, I saw.
I wanted to mention that. We have no executive producer. Again, this is 2 times in the same month, which is a huge difference from last year.
It's actually an economic indicator for Wall Street.
It might be. Not happy about it. This is Brian... It's
Wiffles.
Wiffles.
Okay.
And he came in with $282.28 in a check, Genesco, Illinois. And I don't think he expected to become executive producer, but he is going to be executive producer, and he did send a note in.
All right.
ITM, thank you for your twice weekly sanity check. I have been an avid listener of the show for a little over 2 years. It was after being turned into, he's got this very small, crazy looking writing with stuff in between, onto your show by a couple of dudes named Ben at work. So that's a good sign. We got dudes named Ben converting dudes named Ben.
Hey, they're the ones that will save the world, right?
Right. He sees he needs probably give him a de-douching.
Okay, let me just grab my douche machine and my de-douche machine.
You've been de-douched.
Well, this is interesting. That's what all the scribbling is. Okay, I get it now. Get your pen out.
Okay.
I made an error by not sending this to Eric. Apparently, this donation brings me to the knighthood level.
Okay.
Please assign me the title of Sir Dirt Farmer of Western Illinois.
Okay.
Assuming it's available, as if it's not.
Let's check. Okay, so Brian Wiffles, he will be Sir, what was it?
Dirt Farmer.
Dirt Farmer of Illinois?
Yeah.
All right.
Please give me a dealer's choice of jingles and some small business karma, as my wife and I have recently started a new business on the side. Also include some, I can't read this, something karma, health karma. Okay, I got it. Health karma for my family. Okay, got it.
Well, he's just saying a dealer's choice. I mean, that's...
Yeah, just push the button.
Okay.
Rap for humanity. Atlas Shrugged.
By Ayn Rand.
You've got karma.
Anthony DePrado in Somerset, Kentucky, $250. And he'll be the first associate executive producer. If he could have made it with the $20 more.
Yeah.
ITM, I'm an expat who's been living overseas for more than 10 years. I'm relocating back to the USA in the summer.
All right.
Culture shock.
Not
yes,
really.
I know. Great timing. Anyway, I need job karma. I appreciate the karma. And any sounds John enjoys. Play any of the little girl, the new little girl medley.
The Don't Eat Me little girl?
Yeah, the new one. The new Don't Eat Me girl.
Okay.
And Tony D, he's in, I guess, Jeju, South Korea. Okay. He'll be back.
Where is the little girl? Alexandria okay, there we go. What was that and
Jobs Karma?
Jobs Karma. Okay.
Please don't eat me, Alex Jones.
Oh, wrong one.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Sorry. Oh well.
Now we have Anonymous Boot in the Air. Why don't you read this while I go look for my reading glasses?
Okay, so he wants Goat Karma Train Farmer, Train Foamer. So why don't I do a Goat Foamer and get that ready for him. This is from Anonymous Boots in the Air. Crackpot and Buzzkill, please de-douche me again with this donation of $233.33.
You've been de-douched.
$200 for an associate executive producer credit and $33.33 for my podcasting license. For real this time, Adam. Oh, there is actually no license we send out. If you send me your desired name, then we'll give you firstname.lastname.podcastlicense.com, and you get a certificate with that. So it could be anonymous.boots.in, something like that. The events of my life as of late have led me somewhere I don't want to be. So in an aggressive attempt to change my situation, I request the powerful Goat Karma. And I am... It's very powerful. And I implore other producers to help me with an experiment. Oh, pay attention. I will be comparing the events of Goat Karma-induced 2019 versus my no karma control of 2018. I urge another producer to attempt the same with the standard karma model, and we can compare notes in late December. All right. I'm always excited to download the new show every Sunday and Sunday. I don't always agree with you two. You don't need to say it. But I appreciate the copious amounts of work you put into finding the truthidity of the M5M and their shortcomings. I request Goat Karma for the experiment and Train Foamer because it always makes me laugh. Oh, so I was wrong. He doesn't want that. He wants just a regular Foamer jingle. Okay. Here you go. Thank you for your support.
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
You've got karma.
All right. Let us know in December.
Yeah, that'll be the test, the big test.
Yes. The Goat Karma test of 2019.
Nelson, was it Salem? Yeah. In Boise, Idaho. $200.33. Oops.
Forgive me, Podfather, for I have sinned. I have committed the great crime of douchebaggery by not donating for nearly a year. Money's been tight due to moving twice in a year and all the associated expenses. Now, since I last donated, I have joined the Calexit Exodus, leaving the People's Republic of California and permanently resettling in the great state of Idaho. I could swear I felt my amygdala relaxing gradually since making the move. I promise not to bring socialism and poop-covered streets with me, but I can't say the same for the thousands of other California transplants who have preceded me and are going to follow. Shortly after airtime, I will be interviewing for a promotion on my current job, so please give me a hit of that sweet jobs karma. In addition to the karma, I'd like to request a foamer and 2 to the back of the head. As always, thank you both for the perpetually needed bi-weekly doses of sanity. We got it for you.
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
You know, a lot of Californians have, not a lot, like they've gone hauling their ass to Texas, which is really where the target state is.
No, go away. Stay away.
Yeah, don't listen to him. So there's about 3 target states. One is Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
People go there, and because there's no taxes, and it's it seems like a good idea at the time.
And lots of hookers.
Then a lot of them go up to. Then we have a huge Seattle contingent, and the same people that go up there are the same ones that sometimes figure out that Idaho is probably a better bet
than Seattle. Yeah.
And then then there's a few laggers, the ones that are really with no money. There's no reason, and they're usually just silly to leave. They move to Portland.
Yeah, it's horrible there now, I hear.
Oh, yeah. It's always been pretty bad. And so, I mean, it's hipster, you like Oakland, it's hipster-ish. And, you can kind of see a lot of fellow travelers there. And then Austin would be the next bet if you can't afford to go to New York. And that's it. They don't go to Chicago. I don't hear anybody say, I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. They're not doing that.
No.
There's just a very few places, and they're very targeted. And when it comes to Texas, it is Austin. No one's saying, I'm moving to Dallas.
They're nuts, man. It's too expensive. It's crowded.
Dallas?
No, Austin. And we're building walls.
Yeah, I'd go to Dallas before I'd go to Austin. Personally.
We hear Dallas is great.
Dallas is great.
Yeah.
Okay, onward to Sir Mark Wilson, the Baron of Glasgow. $200. Gents, the show has been fabulous as always. Can this Baron please receive some jobs, Carmen? My current place is sinking, and it looks like I'll be on the market again. Cheers.
Yes, Sir Mark Wilson, Baron of Glasgow. Of course.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And now we have Glenn Bukowski, who is in Sarasota, Florida. $200. He sent a check and a note. And it's a long note, but it's handwritten. But now I got my reading glasses. I can read it easy. I am dude named Glenn. Get it? Dude named Glenn.
Yeah.
And John Curto, who John Curt. I'm a dude named Glenn who John Curto from Dundon, Florida, called out twice as a douchebag. I need a de-douching as this is my first donation to No Agenda Show.
You've been de-douched.
Until now, my only support for the show is buying a No Agenda t-shirt that I wore to the gym and buying a No Agenda mug that I use daily at work. Okay, first of all, those are independent operators, and that money doesn't go to us. Although we do get a piece of the shirt business.
We do.
I think we used to get a piece of the mug business, but they stopped selling them. That was Eric. I think other people sell mugs too.
Yeah.
That I use daily at work. Anyway, I read that you should not listen to political talk while exercising, but listening to the No Agenda Show at the gym gets you pumped up just as much as listening to heavy metal. I'm currently working in data architecture and programming and SAS, and I'm bored out of my mind. Working long hours at my current job has also presented me with some recent health issues. And I've come to realize the importance of a work-life balance. I'd like to call out John's smoking hot girlfriend, this is John Curto, Ariana, for being a listener to the show longer than I have and still not donating a dime.
Wow.
Douchebagger. Douchebag. Just because John donates to the show does not mean she gets a pass on donating.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah. Really, no family plans, people.
She snubbed him. Does not get passed on the donating, especially since they are both employed. Yeah. Even though John's a good friend and a good guy, I'm happy he hit me in the mouth about the No Agenda Show. He's still a one-N John, J-O-N, and should be called out as a douchebag. Douchebag. He was probably irked about getting called out.
No kidding.
Oh, Glenn here. Can I please get a Trump jobs karma and don't be a denier? Oh, he wants the Trump jobs karma. This is the first guy who's done this.
Are you sure?
Keep up the great work.
I don't know if
we've actually put that clip is in abeyance, and Adam's probably a little dig for it because this is the clip we scrapped it because of the feedback we got in Seattle from a guy who had the Trump jobs karma dropped on him, and he couldn't get work for a year.
Well, let's find out. Let us know how it goes.
Don't be a denier. The science is in. Science. Jobs. Jobs, jobs.
You've got karma.
Well, I'd like to know, too, because that is not the jobs karma that the other guy was referring to. The one that I think
I got it. It's the one with Nancy.
It's the back and forth. Jobs. Yeah, with Nancy. And then let's vote for jobs.
Well, we also have this one.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
That's pretty good. But we'll do this one.
Jobs.
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 And jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Right. Well, this guy has been hit with the three
he's going to be
versions.
He's going to be CEO of GE.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe that's the problem. It's one of those things. It's like some sort of a toxin. You have to really use a lot.
Yes, like a vaccine.
It's a vaccine. Yeah, that's the adjuvant. Whatever. Glenn Bukowski in Sarasota. That was $200. Report back, Glenn. Dude named Glenn. That concludes our associate executive producer list, and one executive producer was bumped up twice this month. This has happened.
Yep.
I want to thank these people for helping out produce show 1106.
Yes, in our value for value model, which has been keeping the show going for 11 years and counting, 1,106 episodes. Once this one is done, we have not been deplatformed. We have people who love being a part of the show. You're all producers, and we have some producers that we'd like to honor early on, just like Hollywood, with these credits, executive producer and associate executive producer credits. You can use anywhere they're recognized. They're valuable. But, of course, unlike Hollywood, we actually call out the executive producers and put them in the spotlight, which, as you'll see, never happens on the award shows.
And read their messages to the public.
Yes. No one frame at the end of your show like Chuck Lorre. No. You get whatever you want here, and we love doing it, and we appreciate it. And we have more producers to thank in our second segment, $50 and above, and another show coming for you on Sunday. Remember us at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Shut up, Slay.
Now, even I have the download on what's happening in Venezuela. Go out, hit people with that formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Hey, very sad news, Jean-Claude. Sad news, sad news came across the transom. Our favorite streaming television service, Pluto TV, has been purchased by Viacom. That's the end of it.
That will be the end of it because they're going to take the cat channels off.
I think that it was $340 million, which is pretty good. I don't know what
considering it's just well, here's the thing.
I think they do have to pay. They're paying some fees to some of these outfits for
as CBS and these. They probably have about 10 channels they got to pay for. The rest of them are all free.
And the cat channel is their own, I think.
Could be. There's actually two cat channels now if you go.
That's probably where all the value was. Viacom's like $340 million.
It's a steal.
It's a steal for cat channels. I agree.
Now, I want to mention something that you brought this up. So I think this is the reason Viacom bought him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Viacom didn't buy him, Xfinity would have. Because Xfinity has a streaming service for its subscribers, and I have a Comcast connection to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a subscriber, and I get the cable if I want it. I don't use it necessarily, but I have it, and I'm allowed to look at the Xfinity streaming service because I'm a subscriber.
Mm.
Okay, so you load it up on your Roku, and you hit a button. The thing's spinning and spinning, and you hit a button, and then your channels come up, all the regular channels, and you say, I want to watch, channel 5. You put it on. And you wait at least 5 minutes.
Yes, I've had that service. It's horrible.
It doesn't work.
No.
Meanwhile, I go over to Pluto. I hit the button. It populates the channels almost instantly. And you go to any one of them. It does one spin and you're on.
Yeah.
So why does Comcast, NBC, Universal, big, giant company, they can't get this to work, and some operation calling themselves Pluto TV, they roll out of bed and the thing works absolutely perfectly? Hello?
Yeah. You know who has similar problems is Hulu. Hulu also has problems, and they always have to have some stupid logo so everyone knows that it was an ABC show or an NBC show, and that's like an interstitial stream insert, it appears to me. There's a lot of buffering going on with that service, too. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Netflix seems to do pretty well. But
Netflix has their own appliances all over the country.
Yeah, but Pluto,
so
they're the bomb.
But this is ridiculous. I know Pluto doesn't have an appliance at the ISP level. So they're just doing something right. And I think it was a smart move by Viacom to buy them.
To steal. 2 cat channels for $340.
For the technology, because nobody else seems to be able to understand it. And what is wrong with the Xfinity? They can't get this to work. Are they that bad at engineering? I mean, do you want to trust this company? Would you invest with them? I don't think so.
I'm just going to wager. Here's a shot. Xfinity comes from the IPTV people. And I think that, IPTV, which as far as I know, never really took off the way they expected it with the technology at the time. This is when I was in London and British Telecom was doing all this.
Yeah, everybody was working on it. Minerva Networks was the big leader.
Yeah, they kind of come out of that camp, which I'm sure it's top heavy, tons of engineers, all kinds of stuff. And the Pluto guys, just by the name alone, you get the impression, they're a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, a bunch of dudes named Ben Goofballs.
Throw up some cat. Let's throw up the cat channel. Hey, let's put RT on. They'll give it to us for free. Hey, great. Hey, let's put some eyeballs as our logo. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you're right about the RT. I'm sure they get that carriage for nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Viacom will drop that right away.
This is kind of our hacker TV service. Well, I can say I'm hopeful they don't ruin it, but they will.
They will. They won't ruin it tomorrow.
They sold out, man.
Well, they probably were losing their ass.
No doubt.
I'm telling you.
I got a lot of feedback on the 5G segment I did on the last show.
Yeah, it was a good segment.
Thank you. There's a lot I could say, a lot of feedback we got, but there's only one clip I want to play today, one clip and one clip only. I think it'll do it for today's 5G segment. And this is, I think it's only a year and a half ago. This was at the United Nations. And I think this was about health, also about the World Health Organization, the WTO. This is Claire Edwards, and she is addressing the chair of, it may have even been the Secretary General, I'm not sure, at the United Nations, who also, at the end, will chime in about what she is saying. And this is very interesting, because when the elites are worried about a technology and it's still being jammed down your throat, let's say maybe they were apprehensive about using the technology. We've all heard Steve Jobs and didn't let his kids use iPads, smart, or iPhones. There's a lot of this. Kids in Silicon Valley go to private schools where they use an abacus. I don't know if that's true, but it's
not true.
Sounds kind of like it.
A lot of them may have been taught in abacus because it's actually a very good little exercise to learn how to use one.
So to recap, for the 5G technology, which is being touted everywhere as the savior of our world, because we can have self-driving cars, even though I never heard that before, but we need it now. We can get super fast internet, all the porn you can drink all the time. It's going to be just, there will be applications you never even thought possible. Virtual reality, augmented reality on the streets. It's going to be great, and it just might kill you.
Secretary General, UN staff have repeatedly been told that they are the most important resource of this organisation. Since December 2015, the staff here at the Vienna International Centre have been exposed to off-the-scale electromagnetic radiation from Wi-Fi and mobile phone boosters installed on very low ceilings throughout the buildings. Current public exposure levels are at least 1 quintillion, that's 18 zeros, 1 quintillion times above natural background radiation, according to Professor Olle Johansson of the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. The highly dangerous biological effects of EMFs have been documented by thousands of studies since 1932, indicating that we may be facing a global health catastrophe orders of magnitude worse than those caused by tobacco and cigarettes. Mr. Secretary General, on the basis of the precautionary principle, I urge you to have these EMF-emitting devices removed immediately from these buildings and to call a halt to any rollout of 5G at UN duty stations, because 5G is designed to deliver concentrated and focused electromagnetic radiation in excess of 100 times current levels in the same way as do directed energy weapons.
Can I just stop there and just say how much I love that she said that? The radiation is the same as directed energy weapons. I thought that was just some conspiracy theory that I talked about. Now it's we talked
about the directed energy. That's the terahertz thing.
I'm being a little facetious because if you bring this stuff up and you say you get radiated like a DEW, Then people roll their eyes at you. Thank goodness it's in the United Nations that it's being discussed.
Of 100 times current levels in the same way as do directed energy weapons.
Maybe she's just a listener. I don't know.
In line with the UN guiding principles on business and human rights, to protect, respect and remedy, 5G technologies must be subjected to an independent health and safety assessment before they are launched anywhere in the world. There is currently an international appeal signed by 237 EMF scientists from 41 nations urging the UN and particularly the WHO to exert strong leadership in fostering the development of more protective EMF guidelines, encouraging precautionary measures and educating the public about the considerable health risks, particularly the risks to children and fetal development.
Who cares?
Mr. Secretary General, I think we have a unique opportunity here at the UN office at Vienna. Since our medical records are digitized, you have the choice and the possibility of releasing data on a closed population exposed to off-the-scale levels of electromagnetic radiation in a metal-walled building, which exacerbates the situation, to establish if there have already been abnormal health consequences for the UN staff here in the last 28 months. I urge you to do so and stop any rollout of 5G immediately. Thank you.
Now, this guy's sitting there listening to this, and he comes back with this.
Sorry, because we are talking with someone that is a little bit ignorant on these things. We're talking to the Wi-Fi systems?
On the ceilings of these buildings, Wi-Fi boosters and cell phone boosters were installed without consultation, without information to staff in December 2015. The situation here is extremely dangerous. I have heard anecdotally of many people who have had health problems. I don't know if they are related, but the precautionary principle would dictate that we use our medical records to look into this and that we remove these dangerous devices immediately. Thank you.
Well, I become worried because I put those devices in my house.
Not a good idea.
I will have to, I confess my ignorance on this. We will have to, but I'm going to raise this with WHO, which I think is the organization that might be able to deal with it properly, for them to, put someone, their staff or organizations to work on that, because I must confess, I was not aware of that danger.
All right. So, of course, nothing has happened.
Oh, no. What, WHO? Are you kidding me? What are they going to do? They're worse than anyone.
Now, this Claire Edwards does have, she's a part of a group, which you can find at 5gspaceappeal.org. And I just wanted to read a little bit.
How does that go? 5G?
So it's number 5G, spaceappeal.org. And the space part is what caught my eye. I'm just going to read from this for a second. So they have an open letter. They have a lot of signatories, of course. And, they have tons of medical people who say this is bad. Right off the bat, they say the deployment of 5G constitutes an experiment on humanity and the environment that is defined as a crime under international law. Now, listen to this. I'm going to read 2 paragraphs. Telecommunications companies worldwide with the support of governments are poised within the next 2 years to roll out the 5th generation wireless network, 5G. This is set to deliver what is acknowledged to be unprecedented societal change on a global scale. We will have smart homes, smart businesses, smart highways, smart cities, and self-driving cars. Virtually everything we own and buy, from refrigerators and washing machines to milk cartons, hairbrushes, and infants' diapers, will contain antennas and microchips and will be connected wirelessly to the internet. Every person on Earth will have instant access to super high-speed, low-latency wireless communications from any point on the planet, even in rainforests, mid-ocean, and the Antarctic.
Bullshit.
What is not widely acknowledged is that this will also result in unprecedented environmental change on a global scale. The planned density of radio frequency transmitters is impossible to envisage. In addition to millions of new 5G base stations on Earth and 20,000 new satellites in space, 20 billion transmitting objects will be part of the Internet of Things by 2020 and 1 trillion objects a few years later. commercial 5G at lower frequencies and slower speeds was deployed in Qatar, Finland, Estonia in the mid. Okay, here we go. And then but they're doing this in space. And the space 5G transmitters, they say will be operating at 200 megawatts. That's crazy. And it's going to come from the satellites.
Yeah. They're just trying to burn the place down.
So where does that leave the smart wall? Do we have to make that 5G enabled so we can fry people? Fry people?
Yes.
Come near this wall.
Maria, we come across the border here. Shh, Maria!
Wow, how racist is that?
That's pretty bad.
Wait, do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
I'm not doing nothing again.
There it is. There's your 5G at the wall.
Yeah, right. There you go.
So I continue to stay on top of this. The studies are there. What is just most interesting now, and one of our producers, well, we had a lot of people writing. One of our producers was denied access to, I think, the big Barcelona show, the mobile show, even though he's a current. For whatever reason, they wouldn't let him in, which he's irked
Why?
about.
They let everyone in these shows unless you have zero credentials.
Yeah, he's not being accredited, even though.
What is his credential? What does he work for? Does he have a business card or anything?
Yeah, he does. He works for an outfit. I don't know if he wants me to mention the outfit because he's going there super sleuthy.
Is it a news operation?
Yes, it is a news operation.
Well, they should let him in.
He says it looks like a lot of this is about Qualcomm, and that's why the Qualcomm deal didn't go through. Or did it go through? Wasn't Qualcomm supposed to be purchased by the Chiners?
Oh, I think that deal was put in abeyance.
That's part of what's going on here, because we don't want China deploying the networks and determining when they're going to fry us. Our government wants to do that at their own schedule.
Oh yeah, we have our own way of frying people.
Yeah, we don't want the Chinese to have control over that. So, and that will be the 5G report for today. I thought that clip was all telling.
Yeah, that's good. I'll have to check into this because if there's something going around, because this is the time if there's some document with a bunch of scientists sign it, because the science is in. This is what you take to your city government locally. Everybody, I'm talking to everybody. Take it to your little town. They're going to probably put these things in. You take this to the city council, and you just have to put a stop to it. It's not that hard. They'll stop it.
No,
and they will put the things
Austin,
up.
are you kidding me? No way.
Well, I'm not talking about Austin. I'm talking about the little towns because it just doesn't work unless it's everywhere. So all the little towns, I'm saying Berkeley, they shouldn't put them up. I would think Emeryville, the whole Bay Area, most of the little towns. San Francisco, they should probably be able to stop them there. Austin, I'm not so sure. I think it'd be probably hard to stop it in Palo Alto, Austin, any town that's really high tech. It's just a bunch of.
That's an interesting point. Let's see how they deploy that in Silicon Valley. If they really are going to deploy this all over the place, if they do that.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
I doubt it.
Well, they may employ it like in Palo Alto, but not Mountain View. I don't know. And this is not going to go over. This is too expensive. I think the economics of it is going to kill the whole idea. You can't put a billion of these things out there. It's too expensive. It's more than just a transmitter. I mean, yeah, okay, let's say a transmitter little device is $100, so it's $100 billion in sales. But then you got to buy a pole, or you got to have a guy. You have to have some guy's got to do a truck roll, because everyone has got to be a truck roll. That's a truck roll for every 250 feet everywhere. I mean, this is not possible. This is impossible to afford.
You're missing the point, aren't you? Uber is not profitable either. It's like this is money. Money's going to flow into this.
One step further and say you're missing the point.
Okay.
This is not an Uber scam where you just have a bunch of money coming in and you just hope to God that you go public and then you can pay off all your bills. This is companies like Verizon.
Yes, a scam of epic proportions. Yes.
They have real revenues.
Yes, epic proportion. They are going with 5G. What do you mean it's not going to happen? It's not going to roll out. AT&T is already faking it. Are you kidding me?
They're faking it, but they're not doing it.
Okay. You know what? Stay in Berkeley. Don't worry. You will get fried.
No.
Okay.
If anyone's getting fried, it's you.
Why?
You're in Austin.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to get a 5G handset. But I think it's a little short-sighted to say it's not going to work.
I wouldn't get a handset in a million years. But I still use
Verizon spent $7 billion of China's money on getting the frequencies. They're going ahead with this. This is going to happen.
We'll see. They have to go up against the public.
The public is being wooed with demonstrations of augmented reality and self-driving cars.
Freak them out.
Oh man. Okay. Do you want to make a bet?
What?
Do you want to bet on it?
Bet on what? How's the bet go? This thing doesn't roll off.
You said it's not going to happen. You said it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen? There will be no 5G?
It's not going to happen. They're going to come. They'll back it off to some faux 4G with, just saying it's 5G, and they'll never do 5G. 5G is not going to happen. They're not going to put these little transmitters all over the place. There's no way.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry you want to end your technology reporting career with this prediction.
I already ended it by reporting this.
That's right. And by the way, okay, yes. You got deplatformed by reporting on it. What am I thinking? All right.
So I have the experience. I'm the voice of reason.
Okay.
And reality and objectivity.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't mind if I continue to do these segments.
No, or do I mind? Let me back up a little bit. This won't happen because of segments.
Like ours.
Yes.
Nice. There's something about the 5G that it's called slicing. Is it called slice? Yeah, network slicing, which AT&T and Verizon are all jacked up about, because I guess the way it works is you can slice up the 5G signal and you can offer like 20 different tiers of speed.
Yeah, this is like when they finally discovered multiplexing on the optical fibers.
Very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just probably slice this thing in a million different ways. There's a lot of room to play around. The problem is there's people in the way. Now, I want to go back to that other clip. I was going to mention this. I think there's something funny about this woman's complaint about all these little repeaters all over this place in a metal building.
Yeah.
So you're basically in a microwave oven.
Yes, it's being fried.
So it's not just that the signal goes through you. It goes through you, bounces off the metal building, and goes through you again, bounces off the other side, goes through you again and again and again until you're toast, literally. So I just found the imagery hilarious. Metal building.
The most recent article I could find from the New York Times on 5G, which is negative, but not for the reasons you'd think. President Trump wrote in October presidential memorandum, "It is imperative that America be first in fifth-generation 5G wireless technologies." While the administration, especially the Trump Federal Communications Commission, FCC, makes much of how the 5G race with China is a matter of national security, not enough effort is being put into the security of the network itself. Nowhere in the president's directive, for instance, was there a word about protecting the cybersecurity of the new network. So it's all bad because Trump has loosened regulations, and there's not going to be enough cybersecurity, and China's going to come in and kill us. That's all they can say about it. Not a word about health concerns or radiation or any of that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it is great. And we're on top of it.
Yes, we are.
So let's go back to some other more generalized news. I have a couple of.
I'm sorry. Just one more thing. Do you remember we had the report of some general, and I think I accused him of being like some kind of douche shill who had this idea that we would nationalize the 5G network and then sell slices off to, allow it to be rented effectively by the telecoms?
I actually, to be honest about it, I don't remember any of this.
Okay, I'll bring that for the next show. But I think the guy actually was trying to warn us about something.
You're taking a second look at this.
Yeah. It was like
signaling, and you thought he was douching.
Yes, I thought he was douching, but he might actually be onto something. All right, well, that'll be for the next report.
Okay, I just got two switchbacks.
Yep, switchback. What's a switchback?
Whipsaws.
The whipsaw.
Yeah, I get my whipsaw report, which I got a letter from one of our producers saying that he stopped listening to the show because it's too depressing. And he says it's depressing because every time we bring up these tricks that the media is pulling on the public, he gets depressed about that.
Instead of taking it as a great piece of knowledge to apply every time you turn on the news, you can actually apply this knowledge to see what the fakery is, which is kind of the game.
I'm guessing that what we have here is a person who is idealistic, and our show is designed to kind of debunk everything that is sold by the mainstream media and all these commercial operations, corporations, and these messaging companies. And so he, being idealistic, this revelation that we do on a day show-by-show basis is depressing to him. I was very disheartened by that.
Well, then the show is not for him.
No, I don't think it is. Because most people, I think, get a kick out of this stuff. Although I will say that I got enough bad feedback about the gruesome animated GIFs in the last newsletter.
Some of them were a bit harsh.
Yeah. I kind of took it to heart. I'm going to back off on those.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and we didn't get that kind of donation anyway.
Which is all dependent upon the GIFs.
We got a. First of all, let's start with look at the whipsaw. I'm going to outline these. Let's start with Amy Goodman, and she's on a roll in the last show about climate change. I'm going to play this. Is not a whipsaw, but this is just showing what the reporting is like. This is Amy Climate Gloom with the tipping points.
A new study published this week finds the melting of Greenland's ice sheet may have reached a tipping point and could severely increase sea level rise over the next 20 years. The report confirms other recent studies which warn the Arctic is warming at twice the rate of the rest of the planet due to climate change.
And people wonder why AOC talks about dying in 12 years. It's this kind of reporting that terrorizes the children. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah. Well, here she does a whipsaw or a switchback, depending on how you want to call these things. I've never really concluded what to call them. This is our Davos report.
Oh, is she in Davos?
No, she's not there, but she's reporting about because they talked about climate change at Davos a little bit, and here's an example.
In Davos, Switzerland, global elites are gathering at the World Economic Forum this week, while some of the world's wealthiest
people... Yeah, that could have been an Alex Jones intro when she says global elites. I mean, that's total InfoWars speak.
In Davos, Switzerland, global elites are gathering at the World Economic Forum this week, while some of the world's wealthiest people discussed economic and business issues. Other speakers, including renowned British natural historian Sir David Attenborough, sounded the alarm on the dangers of climate change.
It's difficult to overstate it. We are now so numerous, so powerful, so all-pervasive. The mechanisms that we have for destruction are so wholesale and so frightening that we can actually just exterminate whole ecosystems without even noticing it.
That was David Attenborough speaking with Prince William Tuesday.
You might die.
He's not sounding the alarm about anything except population control.
Which is the true solution. We all know it is.
Which is not climate change.
No.
He didn't even use the word climate change, global warming, or anything in between.
It's more...
She's full of crap. She says that she makes this assertion that he's sounding the alarm. And she plays a random clip.
More terrorizing of the American public, particularly the young ones. I'm really going to start paying attention to this because there's a reason why we have stories like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. There's a reason why these stories work throughout millennia. It's because it's true. If you keep saying, oh, it's going to melt. Oh, it's going to rise. Oh, we're going to die. Oh, by the way, the Hillbot. Oh, this was funny. She's like, every day in Miami, it's underwater because of global warming. And Tina, I swear to God, she said, do you see fish flopping? Oh, man, I love that woman. It was so funny. Anyway, this is what it's doing. It's terrorizing everyone, and no one will believe you anymore. And there may not be a reason to believe you because it's not very apparent that what you're saying is true.
Well, I found it very disappointing. This is the first whipsaw switchback I've heard her do. I'm sure she's done them before. I didn't realize she was part of that clique, which is really headlined by CBS and the big networks. Yeah. But I do have a CBS one.
Okay.
And this is a discussion of Cohen. And it's
the president's lawyer who
the president's lawyer doesn't want to testify. The guy's a douchebag. It's pretty obvious. But
now hold on for a second. Michael Cohen, Michael Cohen. He somehow we had that news report that the president forced him to lie to Congress, and now he was supposed to testify in front of Congress again, but he says
he's being threatened.
He's being threatened and like a mob boss. That's what I hear on MSNBC.
Oh yeah,
mafia practices. Nice.
President has repeated.
They discussed that a little bit in this clip, but then you see there's a whipsaw in here, and it's like, oh please.
President has repeatedly attacked him,
and he's a weak person.
But it used to be Cohen who was on the attack. Here he can be heard threatening a reporter who inquired about aspects of Mr. Trump's first divorce.
So I'm warning you, tread very lightly, because what I'm going to do to you is going to be disgusting. Do you understand me?
Cohen's testimony was highly anticipated as lawmakers wanted to grill him about a now disputed BuzzFeed report that Mr. Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress. Democratic Committee Chairman Elijah Cummings has warned the president about intimidating witnesses.
I promise you that we will hear from Mr. Cohen.
Congressional leaders have not decided if they will subpoena Cohen, but they need to decide soon.
Oh, brother. So they're taking him down here in this report. That's interesting.
So here's the whipsaw. Elijah Cummings has warned the president about intimidating witnesses.
Yeah.
Then they cut to him.
Yeah.
You'd expect the cut to would be something to do with him a warning or something. And no. In the clip is he says they cut to him and he says, "Oh, we're gonna get him to testify. Don't worry."
Yeah.
How is that warning the president about anything?
Let's listen.
Elijah Cummings has warned the president about intimidating witnesses.
I promise you that we will hear from Mr. Cohen.
Just totally nailed it. It's not about that at all.
So we have this situation, and I only catch a few of these because most of it they're designed to get into your subconscious, and the only thing designed to go into your subconscious is what the reporter says.
Right.
The reporter says, "Oh," and then he says he's going to eat the babies in the hospital, and then they clip to the guy saying, I've had 2 kids. I got 2 kids. I like them. I love my kids.
Done. Yeah.
And it's got one doesn't equate with the other, and you wonder why your Hillbot buddies get kind of confused and muddle-headed. It's because of this
kind of stuff.
Doing this,
yeah. So and you hear that as if it's proof, but it really has nothing to do with what was just planted in your head, and that gets shoved in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not healthy.
And I'm like I said, I catch these.
Yeah.
And I know because you don't catch them half the time when I'm playing them. And I tell you, there's one there. I don't believe I must be only hearing about 1 out of 20.
And because I'm always doing a lot of stuff, driving the ship. And I love listening to the show after we're done because I hear all these things that you're saying. And sometimes it's funny. And I'm so deadpan because I just didn't hear it. I was doing something else. And these whipsaws, I mean, that's the problem with these is when you really focus on them, you become that guy yelling at the TV. And
yeah.
I'm a little wary.
I've been that guy. I've been yelling at the TV since I was a kid.
I'm a little wary of that. I'm trying to keep this one.
I enjoy yelling at the TV.
I do it when I'm alone.
Oh, I know. I do it with the people around because they say, "Hey, what do you want?" I'm yelling at the TV. Don't pay any attention.
My problem is I'm trying to yell and Tina's yelling louder, so I don't know what to do. Here's just a quick little trip around the candidates for 2020 because we're going to be killed with this for the next 2 years, which is probably going to kill the show. We won't be able to survive it until we find out who won, just because it's so debilitating. So we need to take people out. We need to, frame people a certain way. Let us start. Well, actually, Kirsten Gillibrand, is it Gillibrand or Gillibrand?
It's Gillibrand or Gillibrand.
So she had to go on the apology tour because this is how it kind of works today in leftist media, all media, I would say, is, you want to run? Well, hold on. You want to host a show? First, we got to go back into your history, find something that you did that was abhorrent, and we're going to force you to apologize about it, and then maybe we'll consider you to be one of our candidates. So CNN is doing their vetting. We had they had the 3 Bs: Beto, Biden, and
Bernie.
Those are kind of on the back burner for now. Now they're trying to flesh out the rest of the field. Gillibrand, and this is a Supercuts montage. I didn't do it myself, so they put a song under it, but it's still funny. It's only a minute. This is the Gillibrand apology tour, because she was so wrong about so many things, including her A rating of the NRA. And, she really was kind of all in with border security, and that was very racist. So you want to run for 2020? You have to apologize.
If Trump's immigration positions are racist, were they racist when you held some of those positions as well?
They certainly weren't empathetic, and they were not kind. I was callous to the suffering of families who want to be with their loved ones. I just knew I was wrong. I couldn't have been more wrong. I was wrong to feel that way. I was wrong. I realized that things I had said were wrong. I think it's important to know when you're wrong. That's why I was embarrassed. I hadn't really spent the time to hear those kind of stories, and that was my fault. I was not fighting for other people's kids the same way I was fighting for my own. I recognized I didn't know everything about the whole state, something that I'm embarrassed about and I'm ashamed of. I came from a district that was 98% white. We have immigrants, but not a lot of immigrants. I really regretted that I didn't look beyond my district. I did not think about suffering in other people's lives. I was not caring about others.
When you were representing a district in Congress, you had an A+ rating from them. Were they engaged in all of that bad stuff back then?
They sure were, and now I have an F rating.
Can you understand President Trump's position on immigration since you were there?
No, I think his positions are racist.
Yes.
Good punchline. That was very well done by whoever did it.
That's the Supercuts, guys. Supercuts.
Well, they did a good job of throwing that little jab in the end. That was good.
So now
I think she's disqualified because she said in that rundown, she said important.
She's off, right? Oh yeah, no, I heard it.
Important.
I love how leaders of this country really show that you can follow my example, because I went for that F. That's the grade I'm going for, from A to F. Elizabeth Warren has been cranking up the Instagram in her attempt to capture some of the young millennial audience, maybe some of the AOC audience, and she's taken it one step further. If you want to get millennials, what do you need? What do you need? We talk about it all the time.
A beard?
It's not babies.
A dog.
Yes. So she takes her dog on the road now. Her dog Bailey. So Bailey has Bailey Cam. I mean, we're actually just trying to. I mean, we're going to fall in love with the dog. The dog is adorable, no doubt about it. And Bailey's got a camera, so it's Bailey Cam. But she goes so far.
What this dog looks like. When you say a dog's adorable, I get what?
I'm sorry, I should have said he's adorbs.
There you go.
But listen how she introduces Bailey and her schmuck husband.
This is Bailey's first political event. I hope Bailey behaves himself here.
Today, I thought I'd bring the two guys in my life, Bruce and Bailey. If anybody wants to stay around and take a picture.
So their husband has been downgraded to a dog. The two guys in my life, Bruce and Bailey.
I'll be here and we can do that. And Bailey will be out there with his own separate photo line. This is not a competition.
The dog's on stage.
So sweet. You're so good.
Woo! So there's everyone fawning over the dog. Notice, by the way, this is a produced video on Instagram with the music mixed in and everything. Did you find your dog?
Yeah.
He's adorbs, isn't he?
It's It's a good-looking dog, I would say.
Yeah, he's adorbs. So that's her tactic. That's her strategy for now, or a tactic in her strategy.
How many kids? That's what I'm looking. I'm looking her up.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't actually know if she has
doesn't
kids.
have children. She doesn't got much. She does have children. She's got Amelia and Alexander. She's got a boy and a girl. Perfect fit, two kids, and boy and a girl. And I'm guessing. But the dog is more important, I guess.
Much more important. And that's what the kids want. The kids love it. Watch for the Bailey cam. Bailey is it. Now, the third clip and final one I have for today's 2020 rundown is Kamala Harris. That's Kamala. She says Kamala. Now, Kamala announced at, I think, Howard University, Black University. I would like to remind you that she was born in Oakland of a Jamaican father, an Indian mother, and grew up in Canada, in Ottawa. She is not an African American, but she has a lot of things going for her. Her sister Maya Harris is a MSNBC commentator. Her dad, I think her parents divorced. That's why she moved to Oakland, away from Canada. Her dad is a professor at Stanford with tenure. And her sister's husband is Tony West. He is general counsel at Uber. Now, this is the Silicon Valley candidate, I believe. Makes sense. They got the MSNBC tie-in. They got the Silicon Valley tie-in with Uber and her brother, and she's in California. The issue, of course, is we need to present her in the same light that we presented Barack Obama, who also was not African American. He was Indonesian, half Indonesian, half white. So they need to kind of set the stage. And Chris Matthews did a piece with, I forget the guy's name, black commentator on MSNBC. And you'll get the idea once you hear the clip.
Well, let's talk about today. According to Politico, Harris's announcement on Martin Luther King Jr. Day was steeped in symbolism. Her aide said the red and yellow color scheme, by the way, for Harris's campaign logo was inspired by former Representative Shirley Chisholm of New York, whose 1972 run for president was the first by a black woman from a major political party. Harris's video, by the way, outlines the theme of the career prosecutor's candidacy for the people. Ruth, let's talk about this. Let me go to Jamal. I got to go to Jamal on this. For obvious reasons, but
I gotta go to you because you're black for obvious reasons. How racist is that?
I gotta go to Jamal on this for obvious reasons, but I get the feeling that she's going to set up her headquarters in Baltimore.
Yeah,
largely African American town.
Yeah,
she's.
I don't understand that. I'll
explain.
I don't understand why she's in Baltimore. She's from Oakland. So she should be in Oakland.
Now listen to what Chris Matthews asks.
She wants to win the South Carolina primary. That's what I do.
So put her headquarters in South Carolina. I think that she's got a lot of strengths here. She's got a bio. She's got a record. She's a prosecutor with a heart. She's done a lot to deal with keeping people out of recidivism.
Is she seen as African American? Is she seen as African American?
Is the organization that she pulls up? Yes, I think she's seen as African American. The fact she was at Howard University today, one of the oldest, they call themselves the oldest. I went to Morehouse. I think we're a little bit older, but she was at Howard University today when she did her announcement press conference. She's going to South Carolina in the first week.
Yes,
she is really planting her feet in the African American community. I think she's going to be a very strong candidate.
This is cultural appropriation of an incredible magnitude. She does not have the African American heritage. She does not have the African American experience. She grew up in Ottawa. And yet, hey, well,
someone will drop the appropriation bomb on her. This has to happen.
Bull crap. No way. No way.
Okay. What mark this time? And you said no way. I say way. Mark the time, people. Somebody out there, make a note. Book the show number and this showdown.
You're going to regret this.
No, I'm not. This is going to happen.
You're going to regret betting with me in this very show.
I've never regretted betting with anybody.
Okay. But
I always win.
Okay. Mark the time down, everybody. He always wins. 2:03. Okay, mark the time. He always wins. Anyway, back to Kamala.
Fact.
She is, she's just going straight ahead with African American. Now, if she said I'm brown or black, fine. You're brown. That's, of course.
She said of color, it'd be fine.
That'd be fine, too. No. She's African American. I'm sorry, it's a lie.
Did she actually say that?
No, I don't think she said that. But this is what you hear them positioning her. Chris Matthews even asked, hey, is it going to work for her, African American? Oh, yeah, no problem. They embrace her, yeah. Based on skin color, I guess. Which is kind of racist.
It's very racist. All right, we'll see how this goes. But somebody's going to drop the bomb on her. And they're going to do it in public. It's going to be during one of the big debates or something like that, and that'll be the end of her. Well, she doesn't have a chance. Kirsten Gillibrand, she doesn't have a chance. No. I'm telling you, the only people that have a chance, and I'll say that here and now, is Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. It's the same two people. Why would it be any different? Yeah. And I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, Silicon Valley guy, billionaire. He says, I said Clinton's going to win because he was thinking Kamala Harris maybe has some shot which lines up with your thesis that she's a Silicon Valley pick. And they do a crappy job of picking, by the way. And he says, no, Hillary, because of return on investment. They put too much money into Hillary.
That's a good point.
ROI.
That's a good point. We'll talk about that and more next.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
All right, we do have a few people to thank for show 1106.
1106, yes. Moving toward. Oh, we got 1111 coming up in a couple of shows. That'll be fun.
1111. Sean Dempsey, 12345 in Hamburg, Deutschland. He says, I only got interested in news once Trump triggered the. How do you pronounce that? It's a German word, Gutmannschein and something. Oh, the Gutmannschein.
I don't have it in front of me, so I don't know.
Gutmannschein.
Spell it.
Anyway,
you're not going to spell it for me. If you spell it, I can probably pronounce.
Spell it. I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gutmenschen. Gutmannschein.
Gutmenschen.
Gutmenschen.
I don't know. It's a good people for some reason. I don't know this expression.
Might be good, something like that. Right. And he talked about the Aufwachen podcast recommended
yes.
us.
Aufwachen,
and that's why he's listening.
Okay, all right. Well, good. Thank you.
Donald of the Fire Bottles, Viscount of Eastern Washington, 12345. Normally he sends in a note on official letterhead, but this time no.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, he sent a note, but it was on HP letterhead, which is
that is not the same as the Interplanetary Starfleet Command.
He says, good shows.
All right,
William Durkin, $110.
He's got his twin sister Beth, his nephew Patrick, and himself all added to the birthday list. And this donation was the square root of 1111. Now, wait. He says, by the way, the square root of 1111 is 33.333316666. Whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a binary. He says it's a nice binary number that equals 15 in base 10. What? Okay. We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
We'll go back to this.
Yes.
Ian Field.
Ian, yes.
100.
From the UK.
Sir Malinowski, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 100. Marco.
Hold on. He says something. My addition to the round table, crawfish and cane break, has somehow turned into cross ship and cane break. I would appreciate a correction. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what I did.
You're saying cross ship?
I guess.
I never heard that.
Huh. I also think it's always Thursday. So
Malinowski, well, there's that. Marco Gentile, 99.99. Dude named Muhammad Ali, 8008.
Knighthood alert. While doing my accounting to find out how much I have left to reach knighthood, I realize I am already a knight and would like to be known as Sir 8008. All of my donations have been 8008, and boobs are great. Can I get polka, which is Pakistan's popular green-colored soda, and samosas at the round table. Hold on. Polka. Huh. What is samosas? What is that?
Samosa. It's a pasty. It's like a pierogi.
I wish I knew what pierogi was.
Well, never mind then. You're just too white.
Oh, no, Pacola. No, it's not polka. Pacola. Pacola. Hey, man, that was racist. Pacola and samosas. Well, I'm doing a million things here. Pacola and samosas. Okay.
Right. Well, if we're doing a million things, you shouldn't be asking me questions. All right, it's 8:08. Sir Midnight. What? Sir Midnight of the Rivers?
Yeah.
8:08 from Gulf Breeze, Florida?
Yep.
Ronald Schull, 8008.
What's
the deal with these? I don't put it in the newsletter, but
no. But if you read his note, he has a birthday, and he says, "Who doesn't want boobs for their birthday? Celebrating my 39th lap around the sun." That's why he put it in there.
Dame Bang Bang, why did she put it in 8008?
Well, I want to wish my Baron, Sir D.H. Slammer, a happy 18th anniversary. I'll give it another year. Love, Dame Bang Bang. Yes. Yeah, of course. This is a true woman here. Happy anniversary, boobs. Nice.
Sir Brian Kaufman, 7575 in Scottsdale, Arizona. Sir Rick in Arlington, Washington, 6996. Craig Kilgo in North Chesterfield, Virginia, 68. And he sent a note in, which I wanted to read for a reason, so I put it aside. Craig. He also sent a bunch of T-shirts, some really scroungy T-shirts.
Scroungy?
Yeah, scroungy. That's the only way I could put it. And it somehow explained here. I know how much you love handwritten notes, enclosed as a donation. If I can get some jobs karma, we'll put that at the end for you.
Of course.
That would be much appreciated. Additionally, you will find 4 T-shirts which have been selected with the highest degree of randomness possible from randomshirt.me. So you go over there, you go randomshirt.me is an OTG friendly, offers completely random T-shirts. That's all it does.
Okay.
And these shirts are very random. It's like this guy, whoever it is, buys a bunch of shirts by the ton, from surplus shirt brokers.
Okay. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah. And then he sells them like randomly. You buy 5 shirts, here you go. Take these 5 off the top. It's like one of those dumb ideas. Come on. Sir Rick, Craig Kilgo. Okay. Baron Mark Tanner came with 6789. Patrick Roche in Waukegan, Illinois, 6006. I placed this as my first donation. Please de-douche me.
Okay.
You've been de-douched.
Now he wants to call out his fellow friend and new listener to the show, Chris Moore. I punched him in the mouth last year, and he enjoys the show every week. But apparently doesn't donate, so he wants a douchebag call out for his buddy. Douchebag. I guess Misha Vorstermans.
Misha Forstermans. Yeah, pretty good.
Vorstermans in Amsterdam. 60.
Yes, Amsterdam.
Long-time listener from Amsterdam. Please de-douche me.
All right.
You've been de-douched.
A male or a female name?
Don't know. Could be either way, actually.
It's asexual.
It's like Pat. Pat.
Here we go again. Dude named Mohammed. We have a number of dudes named Mohammed,
which is fine.
5290. I know, but you don't know which one it is.
Wait, he also has.
He's from BH. Where's BH?
Bahrain. Wait a minute. He says, "I finally achieved a great milestone, knighthood." What?
Is this the same guy?
It must be. Did he donate
is
twice?
The other guy from Bahrain?
No, this is completely different. But so we have another, and this is not on. Eric is slacking, man. This is not on the list.
Well, he probably saw it as the same guy.
Well,
I don't think it is either. I think this is a different guy. This guy's in Bahrain.
With this donation, I finally achieved a great milestone with the best podcast in the universe, knighthood. I'm proud to serve the show in all possible ways as boots on the ground resource, associate producer, artist, show 760, inventor of the phrase dude named Muhammad, and now knight. I can now demand my Sharia-compliant knighting ceremony and change my official title to dude named Muhammad of the 2 C's.
Yeah, the other guy's boobs.
Okay, hold on. Let me write this down. So we've got.
This is wild. This is
how
classic.
does this happen?
Classic fractal or random number. Random numbers are the same day I got random T-shirts.
Of the two C's. Okay. All right. Well, it's fantastic. I look forward to.
I'm going to answer this question right off the top. He has a question for the peerage committee, and I represent the committee.
Yes, you do.
Since for us brown in sandy areas, can we use an alternative ranking system like Sheikh, Emir, Caliph?
And the answer is
no.
I do feel you need to read this next note from Jason from Boise.
Jason from Boise, 5151 Boise, Idaho. IMT. In morning, gents. Thank you both for putting out a truly superior product. This donation was inspired by a reminder that popped up on my phone regarding the best bet John made with Adam on show 1058.
Which you never lose.
Adam predicted that Black Panthers would be nominated for an Oscar for the Best Picture because the Academy Award was too chicken shit not to mention it in today's hyper-politicized climate. John disagreed and bet Adam $5 it would not be nominated. Wrong again, Dvorak.
You can't even say in a group of people, yeah, I think the movie was no good. I couldn't get through it.
No.
Audible gasp. Racist. So here, but they're stupid because now it's going to get worse. Because I can predict, I think what will happen, Black Panther will be nominated in Best Movie and Popular Movie. It'll win Popular. It won't win Best Movie. The Academy thinks, okay, well, we gave him an award, so we're all done with the racist thing. But there's going to be huge backlash and outrage about it not being the best movie, racist, Hollywood. It's going to be fun to watch. And they're just pussies. That's why they brought this whole stupid category in. For years, people have been
nominated for Best Picture.
I bet you they do.
Well, $5.
$5 it is. You're on.
All
Gee,
right.
the guy who just 15 minutes ago, just 15 minutes ago, you said you never lose.
Well, I didn't realize that this one was a bet that I actually made. So now I take it back. I've lost once. Now.
And I don't want like through the bank. I want an actual crisp $5 bill.
Yeah, I'll get you a $5
in the mail
bill for you. I'll put it in the mail.
Yes, you could frame it.
Now, I will say this: your little notion that it's going to win something was not correct because it hasn't won any of the popular awards.
I didn't say that. I said it would be nominated.
No, if you go back further in your that was the bet. But further earlier in your commentary, you said it'll be nominated. It'll win some popular award.
No, listen. I didn't pull the whole clip because it was going to take too long, but now you're trying to welch on the bet. I'll explain it.
I'm not welching on the bet. I'm saying earlier in your commentary that you just played.
Yes, I know exactly.
Nominated, it will win a popular award, but it won't win the Academy Award.
John, listen. The discussion was about a possible new category which did not materialize. And I said it will be nominated for both. They'll give them the bullshit award, and they'll just nominate it for Best Picture. And the bet was about being nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Sore loser.
I won't comment on that nasty remark.
Nasty? Okay. Sending people.
Anyway, he goes on and says something else.
No, he already did the most important part.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Hey, Jason, thanks for nothing. Okay. That wouldn't have come up in today's conversation at all.
That's right.
If it wasn't for you.
And your handy alarm that you set on your phone. Good idea.
Michael Christensen in Santa Ana, California, 5150. Andrew Benz in Imperial, Missouri, 5005. Denise Buck, parts unknown, 50. These are all $50 donors, name and location as needed. Sir Patrick Maycomb in New York City. Alexa Delgado in Aptos, California. Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas. Go to the meetup, Scott. Mitchell Kaufman in Hillsboro, Oregon. Kenneth Lindbergh in Miami, Florida. Sean DeSantis in Fort Pierce, Florida. Sir Haymus, baronet of the Piedmont province in Mooresville, North Carolina, 50. And last, Dennis LeBoy in Bath, Michigan. I believe he's in Local 1, if not mistaken.
Oh, of course he's in Local 1. You're in Michigan, you're in Local 1 no matter what.
Better be.
Yeah.
Uniontown.
And that's it?
All right. That concludes our donors and well-wishers and finks and show 1106.
Finks. I haven't heard the word fink in years. Very good. You fink. We got to reintroduce fink.
Yeah.
Isn't that just like a tattletale, a stooge, snitch, fink? I love fink. It's
a fink.
Underutilized word. Well, thank you very much to everyone who also came in under $50 for their keeping themselves anonymous, which is, it's the only way we can really make sure you're anonymous. And everyone who's on subscriptions, we appreciate it. This is the only way it can work. We are not swayed by any commercial interest because it is the producers who also happen to be listeners of this show who make it all go round. And we appreciate that. Reminder, 22nd of February, we have the Des Moines, Iowa meetup. Go to meetup.com, find out more. We're still very excited about the March 2nd meetup in Austin. It's the big Texas meetup at Austin Beer Works. I think we're going to start around 3:30. Isn't that kind of the time to start? 3:30 on a Saturday?
I do the meetups on Fridays, and we start them at 5 or 6.
But this is a Saturday.
I don't know that I've done one in recent memory.
Okay. And also, after we had that whole conversation,
I'd say Saturday, probably 3 is probably good. I don't know.
I think 3:30 is what I just kind of pegged.
Yeah, because then people, if they have to kind of come into town, they can go to the meetup and then go out to dinner.
Yeah,
and one of the fine restaurants or overpriced hippie joints, hipster joints in the Austin area. There's tons of them.
Yes, the latest is Loro, which is Korean barbecue. This is now the hot thing in Austin. Korean barbecue.
That's the end of the road for the whole thing.
It's quite tasty. But
of course it is. You got bulgogi. They got a cooking thing in front of you. You're cooking it there. You're throwing some garlic. Do they have the lettuce leaves? Is it a real Korean style where you cook your barbecue right in front of you and then you put a bunch of kind of mild garlic. You cook that up and then you take the pieces and you put it in a lettuce leaf and roll it up and eat it?
No, that's entirely not what it is.
Okay, well then it's not very Korean.
This is it's not Korean at all. It's like a traditional barbecue place where you order at the bar, and then there's all benches, like picnic tables, and so they got it, they got it whipped up, ready to go. So it's Korean brisket. I mean, it's just a barbecue place, and they put some Korean letters on it, and it's good to go. And they charge more.
Ah, good bit.
Former New York banker. He took me there last night.
What did he have a report?
No, he had nothing. Yes, nothing for the show. Nothing. It was a dud, and I paid. How stupid am I now?
Well, you got to pay. You got to invest a little bit to get anything. You got to do it again.
Well, we have another dinner coming up in
maybe
the
8th. How was the food at that place?
Food,
it was good.
Food was good. Yeah, it was very very tasty.
Okay, good.
Anyway. We're known for doing this show twice a week, so we'll have another one on Sunday, and we'd like you to support us so that we can continue doing this show and the deconstruction you love so much.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Lots of karmas to go around.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's a birthday.
And here's our list. Only 3 on it for the 24th of January, 2019. The No Agenda birthdays. William Durkin says happy birthday to his twin sister Beth, his nephew Patrick, and himself. He is actually celebrating today. We say happy birthday to you. Sir Malinowski will be celebrating in 2 days from now on the 26th. And Ronald Scholl turns 39 tomorrow. We say happy birthday to everybody, from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Now, we do have a black night, although I wrote a memo to myself to mark this down because we forgot Buford K. Now, he's not marked as a black night, but I went through the whole, it was, I think, a month almost since we said he was going to be knighted, and he didn't get knighted, and anyway, he's on the list now. But
once you fall into the black hole of black knighthood,
it's bad.
It could go on for months. You won't get knighted.
That's why it's an act of valor to become a black knight.
I'm actually consider this a fractal of all of society, because sometimes people will get a parking ticket and then they forget about it, and the next thing you know, it's
your car's gone.
Fines,
your car's gone.
Got a boot on it. And before you know it, you're in jail.
We have so we got two dudes named Muhammad. We have Brian Wiffles and Buford K, and all we need now is a couple of blades so we can get the ceremony underway. There it is. All right, Buford K. Dude named Muhammad Ali, and Brian Wiffle. Step on up, gentlemen. You have all reached the round table of the No Agenda Knights and Dames thanks to your support in the amount of $1,000 or more. I am very proud to pronounce the Black Knight, Sir Buford K, Knight of the Dead Left Channel. Dude named Muhammad Ali becomes Sir 8008. Dude named Muhammad of the 2 C's, and Sir Dirk Farmer of Illinois. Gentlemen, for you, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We've got Pacola and Samosas. We've got Boba and Stinky Tofu. We got Polish Potato Vodka, Ginger Ale and Gerbils, Bong Hits and Bourbon, Rubenesque Women and Rosé, Breast Milk and Pablomen, Mutton and Maid. Thank you all for your support. It's nice to have a new load of knights at the table. Go to noagendanation.com/rings and give Eric the shill your appropriate sizes. The info will get it out to you. The new rings are on the way with the sealing wax, the signet ring, of course, and your certificate. And thank you again for supporting the show. Dvorak.org/NA. You too can be a knight one day. So it's the Patriots versus the Rams.
Yeah, just as I just missed it. My prediction at the very beginning of the season was the Chiefs versus the Rams, and I thought the Chiefs were going to pull it off, but they couldn't for a lot of different reasons. And the Patriots are in there again, and if it's going to be a game of talent, the Rams should win, but I don't think they can it's going to be great coaching versus, I think, superior talent.
Now, we typically look at these things based on a political or geopolitical nature at sports games, considering most of them are rigged. I don't know much about the Rams. Is that the Los Angeles Rams?
Yes, they just moved to Los Angeles from St. Louis, where they moved from Los Angeles to get to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
It was Los Angeles, then St. Louis. Now they're back in L.A. Technically, because it's a bigger market and they're trying to boost football interest in Los Angeles, I would see if it was a rigged game, the Rams would win for sure, because Boston's got nothing going on. And and it may be the rigged game was already taking place, which was letting the Patriots beat the Chiefs, because the Chiefs and the Rams, which gave us a game earlier in the year that was something like 58-57. It was an outrageous game of just nothing but nonstop scoring by both teams. I don't think they wanted a replay of that. So
So you think it's going to be Patriots?
No, I think it's going to be the Rams, because they need to boost the Los Angeles fortunes of football.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the Rams as well, but maybe not for the same reasons you cite. I mean, first of all, the Patriots are obviously nationalists, so you can't win. You're a nationalist, you cannot win. And the Rams, I mean, what does a ram remind you of? Exactly. It's goat power.
Goat power.
The goats will win this year.
Well, greatest of all time. So anyway, it's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah. Except for,
but I'm a big fan of the Rams.
Maroon 5. Isn't Maroon 5 doing the halftime show?
Oh God. All my LibJoe pals from locally, you have to either root for the Raiders or the 49ers, specifically the 49ers if you're a liberal. And I'm rooting for the Rams because the Rams have the old University of California quarterback, and I'm a big fan of his.
You teased something in the newsletter which hasn't come up, so maybe I can spur you on with this. And now you didn't have any clips. I do have a couple clips I'd like to play. Really just 2, maybe 3. First, we'll just play the news bit, and then I'm sure you'll come in. This is our little AOC segment. And why isn't it playing? There we go.
A few progressive names now given significant positions on a powerful committee, the House Oversight Committee, adding Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, another freshman progressives to its ranks. Arizona Republican Andy Biggs is on the House Judiciary Committee. Sir, how you doing? Morning to you. Thank you for your time. What do you think this means?
Well, I think it's indicative of the direction that this Congress is going to go with the Democrats. Their goal, they've stated this, they want to, at the bare minimum, embarrass this president. If possible, they want to fully delegitimize the administration. And certainly the ultimate goal is to either impeach or force this president out of office. And I think the OGR committee, which is going to be very, very involved in investigations, they've just named 4 people who I think have that agenda for the Democrats.
OGR government reform, correct?
Yes,
okay.
That's right.
I'm just reading this from Reuters now. House Democrats turbocharged committee probes of Trump. Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives have quietly tweaked a rule on taking secret depositions that will let staffers of House investigative committees take testimony from subpoena witnesses without a lawmaker being present, end quote. How significant of a change could that be?
Well, what it does is it allows the staff to do 2 things. Bring in a whole lot more people to investigate and depose. So that's going to create a logjam. But the second thing it does, it allows to essentially freeze the Republicans out in some meaningful way, where sometimes the deposition is the only way we can get at the other side of the story, so to speak. So we're not going to be able to cross-examine witnesses and get the full story out.
So what I'm seeing is AOC and other troublemakers are being put on these committees. This is oversight, but also the Finance Committee, which will be run by Maxine Waters. And they're going to give them these great subpoena powers, which even staffers can now use. This is going to be the Trump hit squad or something.
Well, I saw this going on. I saw the latest one, and that's why I teased in the newsletter. She got on this particular committee after being on the Maxine Waters committee. I was under the impression when we first started seeing this woman coming out of the blue, AOC, that she was going to be sidelined like they do with a lot of people that are making too much noise and kind of an embarrassment.
Right.
Pelosi, being a genius at some level, she's decided, no, let's do just the opposite. Let's put her on these big committees where she can really make a scene.
With subpoena power.
Give her subpoena power and all this other thing. So she will either be a big benefit because she's going to ask a lot of tough questions, which I doubt, or she's just going to make a fool out of herself, and then she'll have to be relegated to some lesser position. I think Pelosi's letting these, and by the way, those other ones that are on the this last committee, the Government Oversight Committee, they're all also Justice Democrats.
Yes. This is fantastic. We didn't
discuss enough on the last show that the fact that this little operation was started by Chunk and his buddy, and they both got kicked off because they were. They weren't on board with 6 years ago. Somebody said something that was misconstrued.
Chunk, he went through the rigmarole. But I think this to me, AOC. She is backed. She is backed by something very big. It feels a lot like the Obama plan. Certainly the timing of it.
She's too stupid. Obama is actually quite bright.
So a couple things. Because I've run into this. When I talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which I'm going to do, and it's going to be happening a lot more in the future, I just want you, John, to understand I don't love her policies. I'm not a fanboy. I get this from everybody now. Just because I'm trying to point out that she's something to watch, and I don't.
So you're getting a little sensitive about
well, what
this
I don't want.
Thing?
I'll tell you why. Because we just went through the 2.5 years with Trump. I'm a little sick of it. Yeah. So. I don't want that, and it's interesting, the same, not you, but, when I was saying, hey, Trump's going to make it all the way, then people are like, you fanboy Trump, and of course I was right. Now, the same people who agreed with me on this are like, oh, you're a fanboy for AOC. It's mind-boggling. I'm just pointing out that she's a force to be reckoned with. You can say she's stupid every single time if you want. I don't think she's stupid, and I want you to listen to at least one clip, and if you want to hear more, I've got more. Because on Martin Luther King Day, she did a sit-down interview in the East Riverside Church, which is a huge church. And, it's in Harlem, stacked to the gills, and she was interviewed by, Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's the superstar. He wrote the Black Panther comic series, but he's written a whole bunch of very famous author.
Okay, never heard of him.
I had to look him up. He's very. Let me just see. I have it here. Maybe.
Okay, I'm sure he's got a huge fan base, and that's he's probably famous. We don't know every famous person that has niche fame.
He's famous, and he's black, and he's loved by the community. So in this clip, this is what leads up to the clip that everyone was excoriating her for about the 12 years we're going to be dead from climate change. And the way everyone aired it, including Tucker Carlson, is, and what you would probably have said, is she says, well, in 12 years, we're going to be dead from, the world is going to end, we're going to be dead from climate change. And everyone's like, she's stupid, what an idiot. Yes. But in context, and that's why I want to play this whole clip, she's talking about what I've been talking about is the terrorization of millennials into believing that the world is going to end. And she is leading a pack of, it's going to be very interesting. She's leading a pack of young people who can vote already or next year, and she is the Pied Piper of the millennials, and she's definitely a force to be reckoned with. So here we'll talk about, in this one clip, it'll take us up to the climate change stupidity remark, about her social media, her clapbacks, which is hood slang for you and me, John, about when you slam somebody, like a butt slam, like, hey, I just slammed you. What's interesting about it is that she only does this to blue checkmark people. So listen to AOC. I think she's anything but stupid in her quest to lead the millennials.
One of the things that I love about your use of social media, and one of the things that makes me scared, is, man, you clap back at these fools, man. You let them, you be letting them have it, and what's the Ocasio-Cortez standard?
I had some of our organizers ask me this, and I told the joke that...
You hear that? Some of our organizers? So she has team. She's got a team. She's got organizers and money. There's money flowing there.
Letting them have it. And what's the Ocasio-Cortez standard?
I had some.
Hey, I'm going to ask for 2.5 minutes instead of mocking the whole way through. Just listen, and then you can mock her afterwards. I just want you to listen because otherwise you miss stuff.
Our organizers asked me this, and I told the joke that basically it's like whoever's coming at me in my mentions with a blue check when I haven't eaten in 3 hours is who gets chosen. I get really, so it's kind of just, but it's also it's like, what frame that we've taken for granted for so long should we be dismantling? And when a really good example comes up, that's when I do that. Because when I clap back, it's not just reflexive self-defense. I'm trying to dismantle some of the frames of misogyny, classism, racism that we've just allowed to go on. And I wish I didn't have to do this, to be frank. I wish I didn't have to. But I feel like in our public conversation, we've abandoned the posts of responsibility for a very, very long time. And we've allowed so much nonsense to go unchecked because someone has a Harvard degree and they're saying something, or because someone comes from a certain family and they're saying, because someone has this like reputable pedigree, that the pedigree a person has legitimizes anything that comes out of their mouth. And I think that the part of it that is generational is that millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your bigged issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II. And I think for younger people, we're looking at this and we're like, how are we saying let's take it easy when the nth person has just died from our cruel and unjust criminal justice system? How are we saying take it easy when the America that we're living in today is so dystopian, with people sleeping in their cars so that they can work a second job without health care, and we're told to settle down? It's a fundamental separation between that fierce urgency of now, the why we can't wait that King spoke of. That at some point these chronic realities do reach a breaking point. And I think for our generation, it's reached that. And I wish I didn't have to be, doing every post, but sometimes I just feel like people aren't being held accountable. And until we all start pitching in and holding people accountable, I'm just going to let them have it.
So, very, very interesting to see the troll room as well. Everyone's like, you can't wait to slam her down. I'm just going to say, this woman speaks for a generation that was educated in the same way. This indoctrination that she's received is a whole generation of people, of voters, who are coming up, and it's going to be really, really scary when they get into real power. And she's leading it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the clip. I still think she's an idiot. And the 12-year thing I didn't realize was actually I thought she maybe was joking around and just threw it in and they liked to rag on her. But she said it was our World War II. Climate is our World War II.
Yeah. That's how it's been positioned. That's what she believes. That's what these children all believe.
Well, luckily not all of them. Yeah, the ones in Austin, the ones in California, the ones in New York. Luckily, there's some kids, other places that maybe have gotten a better education than that.
Oh, it's actually It's the Ivy League schools where this is coming from.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah.
The Ivy League schools may have been shooting themselves in the head.
But it's also in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's everywhere. All higher learning institutions have brought this social justice warrior, all of this stuff into these children. She's talking about framing the power, all of this stuff. And she's there now, and she's going to hold that door open, and a lot more are going to come in. And she's not stupid. She's just educated, which is worse than stupid in America.
Probably. All right. We'll see how that goes. I have a couple of ISOs for consideration for the end of the show. And this first one works out perfectly. Kind of, I don't know if I have the short version of it, but yeah, I do. And I think it applies to what we just heard. Okay. This is Peterson.
That's wrong.
Not bad. Not bad. I was thinking of using the triggered, actually.
And then I have Judy on ISO.
Huh. Fascinating.
I was going to use this one.
I am triggered. I'm so triggered.
I think Peterson is best, actually.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I think Peterson nails it.
Well, I like the Judy one, especially again after that the little clip you played, because it's like, it's so blasé.
Huh. Fascinating.
No,
okay.
It won't.
Peterson,
it won't sound good in the end of show mix. It's got to be the Peterson. It's better.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
because he's more adamant. Yes. It comes from, by the way, the Peterson one comes from. He says this all the time. This is his main complaint. It's one of his theses. It's a very 6-second clip. Jordan Peterson main complaint.
Okay.
No, there isn't a job for everyone. And no, you can't train everyone to do everything. That's wrong.
I have another Peterson clip about his new service. He's leaving, or I guess he's left Patreon.
Yeah.
And now he's setting something else up. It's just a minute to listen to his thinking, and he says some stuff that we would agree with.
Yeah, well, I think the subscription model, the private subscription model, is not a bad one because it does leave things under your control. And part of the way that, part of the way that people like me and Ruben and some of the other people that are associated with this hypothetical intellectual dark web have survived to some degree is by not having any corporate masters.
Right.
And so preserving that, which makes the whole idea of the intellectual dark web kind of suspect in and of itself, because it indicates a grouping of sorts. But everybody has their own private fiefdom in some sense, and that does offer a certain amount of protection. I'm experimenting at the moment with the production of a system that would serve as an alternative to Patreon, and it's well underway. I don't know when it'll be launched because software development is a tricky business, but I would suspect in the next couple of months, and we're hoping that we might be able to figure out how to solve some of the problems that Patreon ran into. At least we're going to do our best not to throw people off arbitrarily, you know?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Why doesn't...
Good luck
well,
with that.
Well, first of all, if he says the term software development is a tricky business, there you go. He's going to, when he says 2 months, we're talking 2 years.
Somebody is charging him money.
Yes, somebody's charging him money, and they'll be charging him money for the next 2 years. They may be getting it out of India. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of ways to go. It seems to me that if I was going to do this, if I was him, I would just clone Patreon. Just clone it and just have a different policy.
Yeah.
Why does the whole mechanism have to be different? Because some of the problems, there's no inherent problems with Patreon.
No, the problem is the processing. It's MasterCard. MasterCard threw everybody off, not Patreon. They're just a stooge in the middle.
Or go to some other system.
And they're just a stooge in the... Yeah, but okay. There's only so many payment processors you can use. We like checks. We like bank transfers. We like
checks and bank transfers.
This is the way to go. Oh,
they don't have it targeted so much.
Stupid stuff.
Yeah, he's not, this is just, I don't know why he's doing this. So we have a couple of issues coming up. We got the new census question. I'm going to skip that. Here's you heard about the Islamberg attack thwarted, which I think is an FBI 6-week cycle. I don't know if anybody's keeping track of the dates, but this looked like a 6-week cycle scam that didn't get much ink.
In the New York town of Greece, police arrested 3 men and a minor on suspicion of plotting an attack on a local Muslim community. The suspects were said to be in possession of multiple improvised explosive devices and firearms and were charged with criminal possession of a weapon and conspiracy. The suspects were allegedly planning to attack the small community of Islamberg in upstate New York. Police discovered the plot after the unidentified 16-year-old suspect made a comment to a fellow student about a school shooter. The other suspects are 19-year-old Vincent Vetromil and 20-year-old Brian Culinary and 18-year-old Andrew Crystal. Police say the attack was planned on the gaming chat platform called Discord.
No, there was a 6-week cycle, and we missed it. It was 2 weeks ago. We completely missed it. This guy, the guy from Georgia. Here he is.
According to this affidavit, the FBI investigation started with a tip from a community member. The person told police that 21-year-old Hasher Taheb had been radicalized and changed his name.
Another example of how important it is to contact law enforcement if you see or hear something suspicious.
That tip came nearly a year ago.
Mind you, a year ago the tip came in.
And culminated today as agents swarmed Taheb's home outside Atlanta. Before this, documents show an FBI informant and undercover employee partnered with Taheb and made him believe they would take part in the attack.
For a year. For a year.
Alleged intent was to attack the White House
for a year.
And other targets of opportunity in the Washington, D.C. area by using explosive devices, including an improvised explosive device, an anti-tank rocket.
Documents say Taheb wanted to blow a hole in the White House and take down as many people as possible. He allegedly showed off hand-drawn diagrams of the West Wing. Investigators say Taheb also planned to attack the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and a specific synagogue that's not named.
Notice, not named. That chicken shit FBI. He didn't want to make any trouble.
Taheb said that jihad was an obligation. He wanted to do as much damage as possible and was ready to die as a martyr.
As I mentioned, it was earlier today. Taheb thought he was trading his car for a bunch of weapons. Those were fakes brought in by the FBI. Taheb was arrested after that. And Jim, he is now facing a charge of planning to blow up a federal building.
So this schmuck for a year.
So you were talking about probably a guy with. Now I want to back off. I wanted to contrast these two stories. One, it was kind of a straightforward story, and the other one had all these twists and turns of when you're playing FBI, and with the FBI angle constantly in there, which is classic 6-week cycle stuff from the good old days. And it always involves some guy with probably a very low IQ. I'm guessing in this guy's case, 75. And they can get him and they make friends with him and they work him for a year.
Yes, a year
to make him into a criminal.
Yeah, and
it's shameless.
And then they let him trade in his car for what he thinks is weapons, and they swoop in and like, whoa, press conference. Disgusting.
Yeah. So it has entertainment value.
I got a last 29 seconds. It's about the FBI as well. And I wish I had, I'm going to see if I can find the full clip of this. Tucker Carlson had a former FBI deputy assistant on talking about, how horrible the FBI is, and this FBI, they've been investigating the president and all this horrible. And then this guy says something which Carlson never responds to, just thanks him. I don't have the thank you bit, just never responds, goes into break, and you never saw the guy again. Terry Turchie is his name. Listen to what he says about the FBI. Unlike today's FBI, where we're investigating the president, we're coming up, concocting schemes, we're sending text messages. No, it was very different back in the day.
And I think we can expect more of this because, quite honestly, the electorate in some places is putting more and more progressives and self-described socialists in positions. And ironically, years ago when I first got into the FBI, one of the missions of the FBI in its counterintelligence efforts was to try and keep these people out of government. Why? Because we would end up with massive dysfunction and massive disinformation and massive misinformation. And it seems to me that's where we're at today.
So did he not just say the FBI does this on a regular basis?
Well, I thought what he said
he's talking about
in the olden days, we used to put a stop to people like AOC
getting into government. Yes.
Would be communists, but nowadays we don't.
No, we stop people like Donald Trump. It's the same thing. He's saying the same thing. We don't want the crazies to come into government, so in the old days we used to stop them. They're still doing it. Am I just misunderstanding what he's saying?
Yeah, I think so.
I heard very clearly he says in the old days we used to stop these people.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But since when did that?
He never said we're now. I'm not sure what you're hearing.
Okay,
what I heard was that we used to stop these people in the old days, and now we don't.
Well, it's in the context of the FBI trying to stop Donald Trump.
Well, we used to stop the nutballs in the old days. Now we don't. We go after Trump. Is that what you're thinking he said?
He's another nutball. They've just always done this. It's not the FBI's job to stop people from trying to get into government. It's not their job to spy on them and not get them not elected. That's not their job. Maybe I'm just hearing it, but I was flabbergasted.
You're upset by this guy.
I'm upset that no one said anything about it.
Well, he had to go to break.
Well, there's that. Special thanks to, let's see, Marco Garcia and Tom Starkweather for our end-of-show mixes. We always appreciate that. Thanks, everybody who helped out. Many ways you can do that. And one of them is by supporting the work and becoming a producer. You can also become an executive producer or an associate executive producer. Remember us for that at Dvorak.org/NA. And we look forward to Sunday's show. Coming to you from downtown Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State, FEMA Region Number 6 on your governmental maps. While I can still afford it in the 5x9 Cludio in the common law condo. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're number 8, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here. Remember, Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, everybody, adios, mobos! And such.
It's like the trigger. Cell phones that have gone in and triggered people, but it's electrical manipulation of the brain.
gee, a certain percentage of people are going to end up being killers, and crazy only half cooked. When the phone rings, that's like the trigger. Electrical manipulation of the brain. When the phone rings, that's like the trigger. Electrical manipulation of the brain. Believing with the program cleanse the earth.
You know, running into the same kind of buzzsaw.
But when I look at the Republican Party, I see Tim Scott and I see Elise Stefanik. I don't see Steve King.
So we just found out that she's canceled, and I think that's a great blotch on the incredible country that we all love.
The Catholic school teenager who was wearing that MAGA hat caught on viral video in a bizarre stare-down with a Native American elder.
That at President Trump's direction, the United States of America became the first country in the world to recognize President Guaido.
I am running for president of the United States.
Well,
and
there's a deal in the making, and the more extreme Nancy Pelosi gets, the more likely we'll have a deal.
To assist family members to actually bring food home so they can feed their families, that's just outrageous.
She officially has more Twitter followers than Nancy Pelosi. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Stalin, Hitler, Mao Zedong all came to power promising the same kinds of things that Ms. Ocasio-Cortez is promising.
The left wants to take away your right to wear whatever the heck you want.
And the American people are forced to pick between 70-year-old retreads, in many cases, who got us in this mess to begin with.
And she's afraid of the truth. And the super left Democrats, the radical Democrats, what's going on in that party is shocking.
Idle hands are the devil's legislative agenda.
That's right. That is exactly correct.
Yeah.
Podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
That's wrong.